been so long, guys. It's been so long.
Hey, welcome, Kyle.
You can read it if you want, since it's so rare. Get to hear Kyle's dulcet, majestic, bitter
Dulcet
tones.
tones reverberating. Yep, we should be good to go. I'm recording.
Go ahead and get it started.
Alright, whenever you're ready.
All right, go music.
Donald,
Am I reading the recording?
are,
mean,
are you
reading it.
recording now?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we started recording?
Yes, we're recording.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't hear the "and we're going." Say hi to your mom or what?
I mean, I said hi.
Hi, Mom.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure Donnie snuck a "Am I the recording?" in there somewhere. Okay.
Am
all
I
right.
the recording?
All right, the music's going, Kyle. Whenever you're ready.
The journey to the Dawnfield estate complete, the dangerous ambush thwarted with no small amount of struggle, and the dread huntsman who laid it flown off into the distance, lifeless in the talons of a bird, whose wingspan encompassed the sun. Sanctuary has been reached. What manner of trial awaits the party at this ancient manor? This time on Winterfall!
I call ghosts. Calling it.
Murder mystery.
Murder mystery.
Ooh, murder mystery.
One of the things that Austin was emphasizing was a large dining room table with candies, and then wait, and then a grand piano. And I was
Sitting
like,
room. Oh yeah.
every good murder mystery needs a grand piano in the sitting room.
Yep. And
Austin, laid it flown off into the distance doesn't really feel like it rolled off the tongue really well.
I'll fix it. Thank you.
It sounded weird too. I don't even know what you're talking about there.
Well, that's because you were there.
There needed to be a comma there in retrospect. Because it is the dread huntsman who laid the ambush, right? Has flown, like he ran away into the distance.
Who had lain it, I think, is how it's supposed to go.
Lane is not a word.
Well,
Is it?
Feels
Lane.
like- I think laid is appropriate here, but lane is a word.
Lane.
we are having a grammatical
Lane.
argument. But just
Lane is a word.
Lane.
Google says it's a word, guys.
LANE.
But-
Yes.
Laid is the past tense.
L-A-I-N.
Oh wait.
I had
can't-
lain down, maybe?
Had Lane, yes.
Past
Lane.
participle of lie.
Yeah. So
Mm.
lane
Or
is the
lay.
correct.
I had leaned to my mother about the cookie jar.
What?
Grammar humor.
Oh, wrong
Mhm.
line.
Okay, all right. Let me pull up the
Alright,
notes here.
let's start off with good old Leandra, guys.
Yeah.
We actually will be.
Because I need to get there sometime.
Yeah.
eventually.
1 second.
Are you gonna tiptoe your way through the air all the way to the Dawnfield estate
All right.
in normal monk fashion? Are you gonna do it like the Chinese monks when they run in the air?
What's with all this? What's with all this?
All what?
What's all this? This thing
Oh.
south of Barrington Forest.
Oh, that's also because you weren't here. We were planning things.
Oh, alright.
That is
I
only
remember
because you were not
hearing
here.
about that now. I remember hearing about that now.
You
Alright.
need to stop not being here, Kyle.
All right, control.
I can't help it when people call out.
You should also call out.
All right,
But
in
then
the.
that makes me no better than them.
Anyway,
All right. Control room. In the brisky morning air, you see your friends off in the distance. As you walk them to the steps of Day Cathedral, many of them having large packs upon their backs, small cart being wheeled behind them, various provisions and lunchboxes, as they proceed towards the northern gate. Gate Morrow. And I do believe Draji made food for you as well. Would I be incorrect in that? assumption, Reggie?
I don't see why I wouldn't include him.
Okay. Yeah. So she made a.
It was
It was
it-
an.
it was
Sorry, go
salmon laid on a bed of onion,
Mhm.
drizzled with lemon juice and cilantro, with a salad of mixed greens with spinach, flaxseed turkey, and avocado with raspberry vinaigrette as your dressing. And then on the side, you got to have some fresh yogurt and some blueberries.
Sounds like a nice hearty meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something we've been doing, Kyle, as part of the role when people make rolls with cook's tools, cook's utensils. If it's high enough, we roll like a D4 or a D6 or whatever, and you get temporary hit points. So whenever you decide to eat it, let me know. But yeah, you were left behind with the food.
This is morning of the previous day, right?
This is morning of the previous day, correct?
Alright.
No.
Technically current because we haven't moved on to the next day when Katrogram wanted to leave out. yet.
But we will, for the DM is informing you that for the sake of moving things along, we will try and expedite this as much as possible.
Of course.
So feel free to tell me what you would like to do the remaining day.
Well, of course, I'm going to start off my day with some good old exercise with Flame.
With what?
With Flame.
Is that his name?
That's his name. Remember?
Hold on. Let me look at the script here really quick.
Look at your empty journal that has no
Flame.
monsters.
Flame. Yeah.
Flame.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it with an N or an M?
An in.
Oh, I thought it was Flame the entire time.
So the Flame would be an excellent pro wrestler name.
Oh yeah.
But
The Flame!
so if I'm keeping track of this correctly, you are at 52 days until proficiency, not counting this one, and he is at 57.
I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't been keeping count. I've just been
All right.
working
I've been trying to tick these down for you.
out. Thank you.
Probably.
You begin to you haven't really done a lot of strength training in your time. You've done a lot of aerobics, a lot of flexibility training,
Flexibility, balance.
stuff that is designed to kind of help keep you moving in the heat of combat. It is more like kind of Bruce Lee's style of going with the flow as opposed to Chuck Norris's roundhouse kick it in the face.
Yes. Katargrim will actually bring the lunch with him because he plans on eating it sometime today.
Excellent. We'll go and roll me a d4 then. Thanks. You get 4 temporary hit points.
Thank
This
you,
place says-
Christine.
Explains it. Hey man, you get the hang of it. I think you gotta curl just a little bit more. You make sure it goes all the way to the shoulder. I mean, I know your shoulders are kind of high up comparatively, but you just gotta rep it every time.
I
And,
think Flame is actually larger than I am.
Well,
I'm
so you
smaller.
are proportioned differently than he is. So he understands that repping might be a little bit more difficult for you in some ways. But yeah, after your daily strength training is done, you help Flame focus on his fisticuffs a little bit. You kind of focus,
of course.
yeah, focusing on the footwork, his balance. Many of these small exchanges end with you kind of putting a light hand on his chest and just totally just pushing him down. So just kind of establishing a good foundation is one of your chief concerns as of right now. As he says, man, I don't understand this. I mean, I'm like twice your size, man. How do you push me down every time?
It's because you're not focused, you're not centered. Find yourself, and you will find your enemy.
Insert platitude here.
My enemy?
If he had stood up again by now, I would have pushed him down again.
Yeah, you do it. Ah!
You have no balance. Once you get hit, you're down. That is your problem.
And instead of you getting training from him, I feel like you're training him.
It's a mutual thing. We're training each other.
God.
He's training me in the ways of athletics, while I'm training him in staying mobile and doing better in the
Alright.
make him a little bit harder to knock down and a little bit and have him punch a little harder. Well, not harder, more accurately, really.
Yes. Okay. Anyway.
Eventually, as time progresses, and people begin to kind of notice you around this dojo type area. It's more of a ring, honestly. A few kind of muscly looking guys have begun to come in and watch you. They'll occasionally kind of jeer Flane on. He just gets pushed down by this little dragonborn guy. And when you can't lift like 50 pounds, they're like they kind of boo you on. Eventually, you get acquainted with them. Says, an especially brawny looking guy, kind of slightly longer, blondish hair, kind of comes down just above his shoulders, reaches out a massive, muscly hand, and says, "Well, hey there."
Just a well, hey there. He's gonna be at this point he would have been eating his meal since they're done with the day for now. He's gonna eat something to keep his keep his energy up, keep his strength up. And he would give this gentleman he would give this gentleman, oh, by the way, Tara's on the phone because she's on break.
Okay.
He's gonna give this gentleman a very weird look.
Yeah.
He's not gonna take the hand. He's gonna be in the middle of eating the salmon.
He kind of pulls the hand back a little awkward. Sorry, do you guys not shake hands over there? Name's Grim. We're part of the Pugilist Society of Leandra. We can't help but notice you handle yourself pretty well.
Of course.
Well, I mean, it's unusual that we see people like you around here. We're always looking for skilled fighters. If you'd be interested, here, look us up. Gives you a card. And it kind of spells out in slightly messy but printed handwriting, the Pugilist Society of Leandra.
Does this feel like an underground kind of fighting ring kind of style thing?
Given the fact that he has a card, you don't think it's Fight Club, but you also haven't heard about this society the whole time you've been here.
Then again, I've been keeping myself busy, so.
That's true. But
he's gonna take the card and he's gonna look back up to the gentleman and say, "Do you have a regular meeting time or anything?"
Yeah, we typically meet once a week. Fights organized by our manager, but go to that address and he'll take care of you. Could be a good way to make you some extra cash and teach some of the younger guys a lesson or two. Kind of chuckles a little bit at Flane, still sitting on his bottom. It's like, hey!
Katragram's gonna look back to his food and he's gonna mumble under his breath, teach some of the older guys some new lessons too. as he takes a mouthful of salad.
Hot stuff, huh? Well, I'll leave you to it. You keep that in mind. Always looking for skilled fighters. And yeah, so you have the Pugilistic Society of Leandra card in your inventory if you'd like to add that. And you kind of finish your meal. The day continues onward. We'll say eventually you probably return to the conclave, hang around a little bit, meditate. You notice in their absence, the Kenku are behaving astonishingly well. They appear to be keeping mostly to themselves. And they've even started doing something productive. Crescidus has started them cleaning up some of the dust and kind of sweeping up the halls and removing some of the debris from kind of the large open area with the skylight coming in from far above.
Excellent.
It's at this point I would say you get that message from Dante that was a little incomplete, essentially asking you to collect bear traps along the road.
Be
And
careful on the road. Collect bear traps. I think was basically what it was.
and you return and it's like, is everything okay? And he didn't really respond back, and so you assume he's okay. Hopefully, but
This is gonna be like mid afternoon or something. I'm guessing.
yeah, this is like late afternoon, early evening.
He's gonna take this time to head out to his behemoth, since he's gonna have to prepare him the next day. Pay stable fees, of course. Make sure
Yeah.
he's well groomed. Make sure he's in peak condition.
Of course, this is not carriage storage. This is stable stuff. I believe this is weekly, and you've already paid for this week, so you're good.
Gotcha. I thought it was a daily thing for some reason. Yeah, he's gonna make sure that that his behemoth is prepped. Check on muscles, see if anything's out of check the harness and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that your behemoth is up here, kind of near Gate Strauss in the stables, and then Dante and the others have arranged for the carriage to be stored down here at Gate Benedizer. And so you could walk up down there and just make sure everything fits okay. Maybe even have the behemoth stored down there.
If it doesn't fit okay, or I'll probably just check in the morning anyway, and if it doesn't fit okay, it's probably gonna be an easy fix.
Okay, sure. So you're
he's
not going to bother with
check,
it?
He's gonna leave. He's gonna leave his behemoth in the stable. He's gonna check the carriage. Check for any broken straps or anything.
Absolutely. Roll me a. This should be an intelligence check since you're not proficient in tools.
So close. Yeah, or investigation.
Well, you are examining the mechanical hindrances of the thing, so I would say intelligence. This is basically what Telkar would be rolling if he were here, but he would have a proficiency to add to it. Nice with your 18. You examine the various strappings. It's unusual that your behemoth is kind of burdened by anything other than you and what few belongings you own. But you think, from what you know of kind of ancient Akrazan animal husbandry, that this should work fine. You have to move the straps down a little bit, kind of under the two legs, because, it's a lizard. If you try to bridle it, it'll just slide off.
Of course.
And that will require just some very slight modifications. You could even do that just in your spare time before tomorrow.
He's probably gonna, if it needs modifications, he's gonna take a couple of minutes now to fix that.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, after a few moments, you get nice, snug. The behemoth looks just ever so slightly uncomfortable, kind of feeling this uncomfortable tugging sensation around its chest as it kind of rears its head and looks behind it at the carriage.
It's all right. He gives a hearty pat onto the behemoth's shoulder.
Just reaches down and just grabs a mouthful of hay, begins chomping. This is a far cry from what behemoths are normally fed, but behemoths are omnivores, so I mean they can basically just eat hay, meat, whatever.
Right.
All right. Anything else, Katralgrim?
He's gonna obviously escort his behemoth back to the stable, and then he's gonna have a moment over at, where is it at? That one. The Sears tent.
Yes. Let me see if I can either remember or find her name somewhere.
It was in Grand Market Hegemonies. I don't quite remember
Yes.
what the name was. It's
It
in
was-
our messages like far, far back.
Yeah. Let me I'll just word search fortunes maybe. Lindell. Yeah.
Yeah, Lindell's Fortunes.
And I'll write that down so I don't forget.
Don't worry, I forgot to.
Okay.
Well, that's some money right there. Right into Fifth Grand Treasure Bank.
That's some money right here.
That's some money right there.
Okay. Let me get I have the potion. I think so. Let me find it.
Where did everybody go?
I'm waiting on Austin.
I'm back. The internet just decided to fart, dudes.
Oh,
1 second.
What, you left because you needed to fart?
no. What?
Well, because the internet needed to fart.
Oh, okay. That's how my
It's
brain
brain
interpreted it
fart.
at first, so.
It was a fart of such great magnitude that I had to leave the hall for you guys to not be adversely affected.
I am so sorry if Ben and my blathering is being a bother.
Huh?
Huh? Okay.
Oh, I muted it.
Good. I don't think he knew that you were playing. Okay.
You don't think he knew we were
Yes,
playing? I think
excellent.
he knew we were playing.
Well, I don't think it occurred to him when he made the message thing.
Oh, okay.
He would make a new chat just
Let
for
me
that.
let me read through this just to
That's
know
not-
what
it's-
it would take to make an item that holds a 5th level spell. Okay.
It's nothing pressing.
Gotcha. No, it's totally doable. It takes some money, but it could be done.
Well, if we're gonna talk about it, do you want to take a wild guess at what spell it might be?
I've got my whole gaming setup surgically implanted in my stomach. That's a great idea. I should do that. What is it? What spell is it? While we're on the topic, and we'll get back to Katraga.
Planar binding.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Magic circle to go with that?
Got a what?
Magic circle?
Not yet. Although I was going to pick it up before, but I'm not going to be able to have the full setup of spells that I want for a little while. I'm assuming probably have to get back to the library or level up again.
Yes, planar binding. Are you thinking
to save myself some spell slots? That's all I'm thinking.
That's all you're thinking? And not anything about the demonic staff you have in your closet?
Okay, so I assume that it has some limits on like what levels a creature it could be used on. That's somewhat based in reason, but there's the fact that it makes a save, and that's probably an extremely powerful creature. Like, I mean, if we made like 1 million of those items and tried to set up some way to trigger them all at once, I might attempt something like that. But that's a little too crazy. No, I was just thinking keeping around elementals or the things I could summon for a longer period of time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Save myself some spell slots by being able to cast that with an item.
It's a good idea. It's definitely doable. But yeah, we'll get back to Katrog. So I have no idea what you heard last, Katrogrim. You in the evening you had Lindell's fortune. Again, just the same, almost like a small camp of Dragonborn kind of surrounding the fortune teller's place. In fact, you see a couple of tents that have kind of been erected where several of them kind of sit around a small kettle for warmth.
Kudragon would be walking through the camp, head held high, but looking amongst the other dragon. He was unfamiliar with the fact that the Seer Lindell would get this much attention, and the exiled Dragonborn would be. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, for what you've seen, Lindell's Fortunes is one of the only Dragonborn establishments in the city. As you walk through, one of the Dragonborn kind of looks over at you, kind of hisses, "Clanless."
I don't give him an answer.
Yeah, and you just kind of ignore him as, he had a slightly derisive tone and kind of squints after you a little bit as you look through. Your kind of person isn't oft respected.
No, I know that.
Okay. Yeah, you walk into Lindell's Fortunes.
I've kind of been hearing that kind of thing the entirety of my life, so. So yeah, he enters Lindell's.
Yeah, kind of a small plush area with various cushions kind of arranged about the ground on various exotic carpets. As well as the kind of attendee that stands about.
He would approach the attendee. There's some nice hot tea here.
Yeah. We'll say there's a small pot brewing. It's not fresh hot, but kind of middling warm at this point.
Right. Still good. He would take one of the cups and bow to the attendant and for thanks, and he will say, "Is the lady in?"
She is, but she appears to be in one of her trances.
He would nod. May I sit in for this?
When you say sit in, do you mean just kind of just sit about on the cushions or go in there?
Nah, actually go in there and just like sit with her.
Well, you do seem to be favored by the lady, and you are of a serene sort. I see nothing wrong with it.
He would give another nod, and then he will nod.
Katrolgrim nods.
He would give a curt nod before slowly moving his way further into the tent to where the seer is staying.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of sit about slowly sipping your tea. You see Lindell sitting there, legs crossed, arms folded, her eyes apparently kind of roll back into her head a little bit as she sits slightly inclined on a pile of cushions. She appears to be mouthing something, but it's not audible.
He is not going to try to read her lips for her own privacy.
Sure.
He's just going to enjoy her company for now and enjoy the warm tea.
Absolutely. Roll me a religion check to see how helpful the experience is.
Hey, I have religion. Oh, but I suck.
Well, the inherent serenity and balance of the area is helpful to a degree. You still feel like there is much wrong with the world. And as you finish your tea, you feel this kind of impatient urge to move about, the urge to get something done, to do something about it. You unfortunately do not have any sort of revelation or inner respite.
Can't win them all. He's gonna give a heavy sigh as he's looking down into what remains in his cup.
Yeah, though you've never been a tea leaf reader, you do see them kind of dark and smudged in the bottom and intricate but seemingly random patterns in the bottom.
She's still in her trance.
Yeah.
He's gonna wait like another couple of minutes before standing back up and heading out.
Gotcha. Fighting the urge to move about, you kind of sit patiently for a minute or two longer, hoping for some kind of advice or platitudes, but none come as Lady Lindell appears to be deep in some kind of trance.
Yeah, after a couple of minutes of this, he'll get up and exit her area and leave the cup with the attendant and thank her for the tea.
Says, yes, as always, a pleasure.
He nods and heads back outside.
Okay. Would you like to summarize the remainder of your evening for me?
He's probably gonna just take like a brisk walk through the city a little bit, just to get a little bit more familiar with the place before he leaves. Other than that, if it's late in the evening, or if it's early in the evening, he's probably gonna go back to Day Cathedral, meditate for a little longer. Then, if not, he's just gonna head to bed.
Yeah. While you kind of take a walk to kind of walk off some of the nervousness, and then you head back and you try to meditate again. You do kind of, your mind is still kind of reeling at what must be done. the magic from the table of 4 skulls seems to jump at you ever so slightly. As I'll take you to the map very briefly. As actually, I need a bit of attention for this. Give me something a little creepier. What do we have?
Oh,
This is not
creepy.
very tense.
It's the tensest thing I have, buddy. All right, we go.
Ooh.
Ooh, berserk.
As you sit cross-legged on the ground, you get a brief vision, but it isn't your vision. Its light comes from a different life. You know this to be a strange sensation that comes with this strange magic instilled within you from the Table of 4 Skulls. From what Telkar informs you, this ancient and evil table was constructed through the insemination of thousands and thousands of humanoid souls during the Magic Wars some 100 years ago. As such, it has the culmination of all of their knowledge, and what you feel right now is the thought construction of but a few. You feel a growing fear in your chest, this dread horror that is unspeakable in nature, pure chaos. You hear chains rattling. You struggle to maintain your breath, focus, using the ancient breathing techniques of your monastic order. As you slowly focus in, the sensation is becoming a pinprick, a drop in a lake. It ripples ever so slightly. You see, this lake isn't vague, though. It's specific. You see the shorelines, a small island in the middle. The water's pure and blue. You see a temple-like structure erected, and lithe, elven-looking figures on the shores and surfing through the waters like dolphins. They carry tridents. And you're back to yourself. Breathing ever so slightly, more than usual. A dint in your nerve. That was unlike anything you've ever experienced before.
I hear a call to adventure.
It's like all this dramatic explanation is just like, yeah, that sound that happens in Minecraft when you walk near a cave, that happens. Sorry.
But with that, Katralgrim, you also feel the power of the Table of 4 Skulls leave you. This hive mind construct almost kind of in the back of your head, whispering somethings and nothings into your head, talking about the balance of the world, vanishes off into oblivion to wherever they came from. And you're left with only the dread horror and silence of your own mind. What do you do?
One would think that I'd actually be welcome to silence in my own mind. But he's immediately. I do have a map of Mara.
Yes, if not on your person, somewhere in the conclave. Absolutely.
He's going to grab his map.
Mhm.
Crushidus is on the floor below, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna stride down the stairs and try and find Crushidus.
Yeah, it is evening. You can see him being an elf and all. He kind of in this trance, just sitting upright in his high-backed chair down in the study. As you walk in, his eyes kind of regain their focus and zero in on. Yes, Control Room. How can I assist you?
Know you of this land? He
Yes.
says as he places the map onto the table in front of him.
Well, I've lived here a long time. There are a few places I either haven't heard of or have never been to. What was it that you wanted?
I had a vision. Something came to me.
Yes.
Specifically, a lake. A small body of water with an island in the middle of it.
Well, very small islands are not uncommon in the Great Lakes, Lake Helinaji, Barrow Lake. But the first thing that comes to my mind is Lake Altria, just to the southeast of Leandra.
Southeast of Leandra?
Yes, it is there that the Tritons claim their ancestral lake. It was never quite clear why they adored it so. But the sea elves have seemingly become lake elves in time. It is said that a great spirit graces the surface of Lake Altria, and its waters have long held curing properties.
He's gonna take a long look at the map. I'm guessing the Dawnfield estate would have been marked at some point.
Yeah,
Just make sure I
absolutely.
know where to go.
That was communicated to you before they left, I'm certain.
Yeah, just make sure that I don't get lost on my way up there. He's gonna look up towards the estate. He's gonna look down towards Lake Ultra, and he's gonna give a little sigh. And he just says, "Well, this vision I had involved something chained, something that does not need to be released. But I steadied my mind from its fear, and I was transported to Lake Altria, it seems." Any
Well,
insight?
the Tritons have, well, they have long been the self-proclaimed protectors of the world. And to a degree, they are. There are horrors in the deep that far surpass even my or the most wizened scholar's comprehension. Elder creatures from the founding of the war, the founding of the world.
Founding of the war.
Yes, they are eldritch, unknowable, and almost deific in nature. If what you saw is something beneath Lake Altria, something that should not break free, then it is important that it not, no matter the cost. He looks at you with kind of just dead serious eyes. Is there anything else?
Kyle.
Sorry, I had an unexpected visitor. Katrarga would nod. He'll say, "Thank you, Crashtus. This is something that I should probably rest upon."
Of course.
As he rolls up the map and deposits it back in his pack.
Do let me know if you have any other further requests or questions. This is most troubling. I will think on it as I rest.
Katrogrum will thank Crashidus for his help and return up to his room and take some rest for that.
All right. Yeah. The vision passing through your mind over and over as you steady your breathing and prepare yourself for sleep. The night passes fairly uneventfully. However, as you awaken, you feel yourself engulfed in a slightly kind of cold chill running down your spine. You feel icky somehow, like there is a taint that has rubbed off on you.
Katrogrum is gonna take this morning time to meditate a little bit. Probably get a nice bathing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You use one of the shower buckets downstairs as you bathe and meditate. Go and make me a we'll say wisdom save, please.
No.
Why are your rolls so bad?
I had one good roll when my modifier was low, and then when the modifiers are slightly higher, they're.
You struggle to regain your inner peace, to shake this feeling, and well, the bath/shower does help. It doesn't shake this unalienable feeling that there is like some aspect of what you saw that has entered into you and isn't going away anytime soon. You're not sure what repercussions this could have besides a disquiet mind, but time may tell.
After his shower or after his bathing, he's gonna get himself dressed in some fresh robes, something a little thicker, if there's anything laying around, something a little thicker for the. And he's gonna be wrapping his gauntlets on extra tight today.
All right. The fists
Before
awaken from their slumbers as, all right, we are ready. I'll be quiet, left. No good, know it all. We're ready.
We may be in some danger today. I hope you two are ready.
Always. Always. The two kind of answer in unison. As you wrap them tightly against your bare skin, the magic kind of flowing through you, amplifying your already inherent balance and strength. As you prepare for the day's affairs.
He's gonna start off the day going over to Flames to inform him that he will be leaving for the next couple of days. Remember his training, as I will remember mine.
Oh yeah, you got it, man. What are you gonna 2 days? Is that what you said?
It should only be a couple of days.
All right. Well, strength is a perishable thing. So here, got you a present. He holds out a pair of dumbbells for you.
A belt of giant strength? Oh, you shouldn't have.
Remember, 30 of these on each arm every day. That should keep you from getting rusty.
Katrogrum will give him a grin and nod. And he says, thank you. Remember to spar with everyone else. They may give you some insight where I can.
Yeah, you got it, man. Well, take care, dude.
Katrogrum deposits the 2 dumbbells in his are they dumbbells or barbells? Just
Yes, dumbbells. 15 pounds each.
all right. He he puts those in his pack and he heads over to pick up his behemoth and start heading out towards the Dawnfield estate.
All right.
If you
You
would
agree?
like, we can move back over to the Dawnfield estate for now because my girlfriend's calling again.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say your various affairs are in order as you get ready to leave. Meanwhile, at the Dawnfield estate the next morning. Honestly, my hope is to include Katrogam in this as soon as possible, so I may wait just a little bit for Kyle to see if he can return. And we can just get that part moving, and then we can get everybody together.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
So use the restroom if you want, guys.
if the day is passing and it's going to be a while before he gets there, wouldn't we do things?
Knowing Katrogam, he gets up at like the crack of dawn. He'll be there pretty soon, like mid-morning, and then most of you are sleeping in.
We are?
It's true. We did say yesterday. We did say the last session that we would probably be sleeping in because we stayed up so late cooking.
I don't remember saying that myself for my character at all. I mean, Draji's well-trained, disciplined. She had years of training with getting up at a certain time. I don't think she would start being a sluggard now.
I mean, if you went to bed like really late, that might still happen though, especially with full sleep.
But he also said that with the type of beds that we had, we could probably get the rested status faster.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is true. You can get up earlier if you prefer.
Dante probably would just because he's not necessarily going to do anything, but he'd probably just be up studying.
Sure.
studying what?
Spells.
The machinations of Vecna. What else?
Yeah, I would imagine Draji would get up and take a long time grooming herself because it's been a.
Okay. Well, I have narration for Get Up. Kyle, are you going to be gone for another 10 minutes or so? Okay. We'll go ahead and get this started then.
Did you hear him? Because I didn't hear him.
I didn't hear him.
Oh, Kyle.
I would assume that means likely.
Okay.
It's fine.
I thought I heard him pushing the button, so. Oh well.
We hear nothing, Kyle. Okay. Get this narration out. A new day is dawned. As you all slowly wake up at your variable times, the comfort of the beds are difficult to leave. As servants slowly and quietly enter each of your chambers, you hear the light clattering of silverware. Various utensils as carts are wheeled in with breakfast. You are asked if you wish to receive breakfast in bed or would rather receive it in the upper floor's guest dining area.
Edgearch would sleepily. He would be embarrassed to receive breakfast in bed. He'll say in the dining area, but he might be a bit late because he's sluggish this morning. He'll probably shake Telkar awake and ask him a similar question.
Rolls over. Leave me be.
Edgearch will turn back to the attendant and say, "Yes, we'll be there. We might be a bit late."
As you look over, and Telkar has been almost entirely engulfed by the bed. He's just sunk into it. The only thing you can really see is just a bit of his nightgown and beard poking out, and his nose, and you could just hear him inhale just this.
Yeah, of the dwarven density at it again. I know with Straji, I'm assuming this a similar fashion is happening in her bedroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
She would say that she would prefer to go to the dining area, and but she would be a little late because she wants to get the fight that happened yesterday off her skin.
Sure, yeah.
Donnie,
Yep.
are you gonna be eating in bed?
Dante probably wouldn't eat in bed. If there's like any kind of common area, he'd probably be in there frying eggs on a metal plate and reading.
Yeah. No, the servants just absolutely won't let you cook for yourself, but the choice was in bed, or you can also eat in the upper floor dining area reserved for guests.
Yeah, Dante would do that, and then he would just tell them eggs.
Tell them
Just-
what?
Just
Eggs.
barks at them eggs.
Yeah, eggs.
You bark eggs, and a literal pile of eggs kind of appears on the table in front of you, as they slowly unload from a cart, and not just eggs, but a great many other delicacy. Some kind of fried meat, bacon, what you think are maybe some kind of seafood, kind of small, bulbous, and gelatinous looking, but strangely appetizing at the same time. As well as kind of a sweet shortbread. It sort of serves as the dessert for the morning course. As you sit there, kind of gathering yourself into eating, Edric slowly kind of walks in, haggardly. You know, it's hard for old men to get up, but what you've seen of Edric, he actually looks remarkably well rested. As about 10 at this point, and Draji was already up, and so she has finished all of her morning activities, and assumably joins her companions for morning brew if she wishes.
So am I. And we cut back over to Control Room, who is
Yeah,
heading out in
well-
the snow.
We'll get back to you shortly, man. I would like to get you started soon. But yeah.
You're good. You're good. You're good, bud. You're fine.
Okay. But yeah, Telkar, as you kind of look back into your room, Edric, as you kind of look down the hall, you see Telkar makes no notion of leaving, and he mumbles something about laying in the grave of his forefathers.
You know, that kind of sounded like Ben for a moment.
that is a Ben thing. That's good.
The three of you convene for breakfast. It doesn't appear that any other members of the household are joining you presently, but breakfast is considered to be more of a private meal. That is why the option to eat in your room was given.
Really? And where's Ina?
Ina is also apparently sleeping in. You would have seen to it that she had the finest accommodations, but she does have a room all to herself, just down the hall.
Can I take a peek to see if she's there?
Yeah, you glance in the room and you see her, like, kind of partially sunk into the bed, with just like part of her torso kind of sticking up at a right angle, as she apparently opted to eat breakfast in bed, and you can kind of see her feet kicking excitedly out of the cover. She says, "This is so great." as she digs in, she says, "Oh, hey, Draji." Mouthful.
Some of the egg flying out of her mouth. Good morning, Ina. The rest of us are all in the commons area whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'll be here in a minute. Just gonna finish this.
All
Kind of
right.
points at the plate.
Yeah. All right, you have fun with those eggs. And she'll like slowly close the door behind her. Okay, bye now. All right, bye.
You close the door very kind of slowly. She kind of waves at you with her fork.
And Josh is just like, man, okay, all right, yeah, breakfast time sounds good.
Yeah, Edgearch is like probably he's not as tired looking. Like you said, he's rested, but he's so relaxed. He just kind of props his head up on the table with his elbow. He's kind of reading through his spell book, holding it in one hand, holding his head in the other hand. And he's eating with the use of a mage hand. He just he's so relaxed. This is good stuff.
As a kind of amiable looking, slightly plump looking butler or servant walks over to you. Draji, you recognize this gentleman as he usually likes to be referred to as Mr. Burns. He says, "Hello, what a day. My name's Mr. Burns. Yeah, I serve you every need. Let me know if anything suits your fancy, and I'll make sure to get it to you. I'll just be off here. I'll leave this bell right here." He kind of puts it at your right hand, Dante. Ring it if you need anything. I like to respect people's privacy, so good day.
Wait, Austin.
Yeah.
So what is Mr. Burns again?
He's a butler.
Where's Versio?
Well, Versio is the head butler. He has a lot of affairs to handle all over the house.
Gotcha. So this is someone probably beneath.
Yeah, this is a guy that has apparently been ascribed just to deal with you guys and serve you every need.
He's got to deal with us. Jeez. All right. But yeah, he'll just leave a bell. Like, how does he hear that from across the house? Is it a magical bell?
No, you can see him just kind of walk down the hall into kind of this kind of servants' lounge area, and he leaves the door open a crack, so not hard to hear.
Oh, I don't know if you were a partaker of Disney movies, but I do remember the Cinderella movie where the sisters had bells that they would pull on in their bedrooms to summon Cinderella.
Yes, there is something like that. They aren't on ropes, but they're kind of like handbells, kind of on everybody's nightstands. But he puts one, looks kind of like a brass color, on the table for you guys to ring whenever you guys like it.
Got it.
Cool.
Yeah. As breakfast is taken, I know you guys probably have some excellent temporary hit points already from the previous night.
Yeah.
This isn't. This is probably.
Hit points are removed on a short or long rest.
Kyle, shut up.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It is a long rest. You're right.
No,
Yep,
but
so
they're really good hit points. Shut up.
They were. Now, I'll say because it was a crit, you guys get those until your next. Short or long rest.
Kyle, keep your lawyering to yourself.
I didn't. What are you talking about? I didn't say
it.
Shut up.
I actually did recall that. I just kind of forgot. I remember, but I didn't remember.
You forgot to remember.
Yeah, exactly. I knew the rule, but I, was kind of being complacent. So thank you. All right.
You'll be nitpicky. I worked hard on that food to give them that
D10, good food.
D12.
But yeah, if you guys think that you could get higher, you could roll a D6. D6 is the average temper hit points for the fair at this house.
Oh no, I have a 10 in mine, so
I have a 4, so I'm kind of tempted, but at the same time, I mean, the average is a 3. I'm not likely. Let's try it.
Oh jeez, yeah.
If I roll this, does it overwrite the old value? No matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we're gonna keep the 4. Might as well.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, you'd have a 33% chance or actually you'd have 50% chance of getting the same amount or higher.
There, Kyle.
So it'd be a coin flip.
Kyle.
Dante has 7 temporary hit points, but I think that's was that from Draji healing him?
No, that was from the food last night, you dingling.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I got it. All right, never mind.
You dingier?
Yeah, dingy.
Donnie.
So I was actually this is a little off topic. I was playing Skyrim yesterday, and it's modded so hard that like sometimes things just happen and you're not really sure why. And I just got this random quest objective. It was save Dengir. I'm like, who is Dengir?
It's Donald.
Like, yes, I was like, it sounds like Donnie.
Did you find Denkir and save him?
No, Dengir's still out there somewhere, man.
That sounds like a nickname you would give him.
I just want everyone to know that I rolled a d6 in a different program. Just out of interest, I got a 1.
You got a 1, guys.
Yep.
It's over. Donnie's chuckling.
So on that 51% chance, you got 49%.
See, it's very different when it works with Nicholas. It's less than that. I would say you're closer to accurate, around the 33%. But anyway, let's carry forth. So we have breakfast. All right.
Yeah.
Are we moving
Dante-
forward?
Dante's
With
gonna
the
be
problem?
eyeing that bell with some disdain, but other than that, he's just gonna
He
continue his
is
business.
not going
Oh,
to.
by the way. Hey, Austin.
Mhm.
Since the guards probably wouldn't know anything about Katralgrim's description or that there's supposed to be another member that's joining us, she would probably inform the guards when she's done eating that give a basic description about Katralgrim, monk garb, kind of small in stature for a dragonborn, and he'll be
Behemoth.
coming with a behemoth.
Ha! Boom, baby. Yeah. All right. This is very wise. You inform them. I says, right, absolutely. I will send word to Sir Gallant at the front gate and ensure that we keep an eye out for this individual.
Don't worry, guys. I'll find my way into the estate. Don't you?
Wait, hang on. Sir Gallant was here the previous night. Was he there all night long?
Sir Gallant typically minds the front gate for any guests. He is deployed whenever guests are expected.
Got it. Okay. I was about to be very worried there.
As he has good manners. He has good manners, and he's a gallant looking guy. It's pretty nice.
That's good.
Yeah. So they deploy him for such missions. But yeah. So yeah, you kind of glance out the window of your small eatery area and down out onto the estate, the snow-covered estate. You couldn't see it as well the previous evening, but it's very beautiful. You see the great forest of pine trees kind of on the periphery of the manor. This great forest. Far to the north, you can kind of glance out one of the windows. You see Lake Hellenage in the distance, surrounded by pines and small, what you can only assume to be a fishy little gazebo there.
Yeah, and then she will remember how Neelis told her that Atreus didn't want to be there when she was arriving and went on a fishing trip, and she'll sort of wonder about that. That'll just be a thought that's in the forefront of her head, but she'll address that when that comes around. I would imagine, like, oh yeah, okay. Hey, Austin. What I'll do? Did most of the canon that I used was it preserved, or can I assume?
You can assume that it is accurate until I say otherwise. I would say. I think that's pretty fair.
Okay. Because I was going to talk to them about the dinner tonight and how that's more or less.
As far as like your family and characters go, like most of that's the same. So you can brief them on what to expect. Yeah.
Yeah. Just probably expect a lot of questioning from Mother. She's a rather picky person, but try not to take it to heart. But yeah, she would casually inform everybody else about the behaviors of Willow and her mother. Yeah. What are y'all doing?
Instagram, obviously.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about Donnie over here making a mile long. Anyway, um, so does anybody want to respond to that, or they just kind of like nod in unison, like like noble stuff, like okay, yeah, sure,
Pretty much.
pretty much, okay. Well, do we want to carry forth to Katrogum so that we can streamline?
Sure. As we'll be getting back to Katrogrim, your evening is spent. Again, the kind of the restless sleep slight taint on you when you wake up, and as you gather your things, what few you have, and your behemoth is brought to the southern gate. Uh, you are almost ready to set off. Is there anything you would like to do before leaving Leandra?
I already have, and
You already what?
I already have, and I'm already good. Well, actually, quick visit with the seer.
Okay.
Why not?
Just to streamline it, what are you looking for? Anything interesting?
Just some comfort, just some calm with this taint that I feel inside me.
Sure.
Just like a quick visit for some nice warm tea and a comforting present.
Yeah, you walk in as per usual, and the attendee informs you, in kind of hushed words, that the Cirrus has been in this trance for well over 36 hours now. She's actually had to hydrate her. As you sit down, cross-legged on the floor in front of her, and you're not sure if it's coincidence or if it's actually a response to your presence, but you see her kind of jerk away from you, like almost like involuntarily. As
But
she
still
can,
in the trance.
yeah.
Curiosity is gonna overpower Katrogum. He's gonna try and read her lips to see if he gets anything from what she might be seeing.
Sure. Roll me a perception check.
Hey, I'm good with those. Oh no, I'm good with those. Never mind, I'm good with those.
What she's saying doesn't entirely make sense. It appears to be this kind of cryptic babbling of words. You make out like strange, like kind of verbs kind of melding together, like run, sprint, wait, go, stay. But you also make out certain proper nouns that kind of ring a little bell in your head, like Io's crown, the crown of 7 sages, the apostle, Tiamat, Bahamut. It seems to be just a lot of words that are related to or the product of the various happenings and prophecies she's given out recently to not only you but the other Dragonborn.
Crown of 7 sages. Where would I have heard that before?
The crown of 7 sages is the crown that adorns the apostle's brow. There are 7 sages, each allocated to a different virtue, or you say virtue, attribute of Io, right? Nobility, lawfulness, ambition, kind of thing. The 7 sages are these individuals that, like you, sort of embody this monastic virtue, except they don't focus on all of them, they focus on their one. And so you have the way of ambition, you have the way of balance, you have of lechery, that kind of thing. Your martial art is sort of this mishmash of different ones. The Crown of 7 Sages, however, you haven't heard of it. You just assume that it was in Isle Van Thor, the capital of Akraza. You hadn't heard about it being moved or anything. Strange that she would mention it.
Very interesting. He's going to leave the seer because he has to get moving. He's going to leave the seer to her vision, having emptied his tea already, and return it to the attendant before saying, I need to go now. Thank you for the tea again. I need to get moving to my friends.
Yeah, she bids you on your way.
Alright, now I'm leaving.
Okay.
Wait, one more thing.
Okay.
Kidding, I'm leaving.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
But wait. 1 second.
Did that guy ever tell me which day of the week that they host the Pugilist Society?
You just said once a week, not the day. So you could check.
Gotcha.
But yeah. You go to Gate Benedizer. Using the knowledge of the leatherworking from the previous night, you situate the behemoth as such. Briefly open the carriage to ensure that all of the supplies that Dante and the rest of you gathered the other day are still in place. They are. Lock it back up. Get in the seat, and using what little knowledge you have of driving a carriage, helped greatly by your beast of burden's loyalty and just, the instinct it has to try and please you and the understanding you have between each other, you more or less effortlessly get out of the city. There was one moment with an orphan where, like, you almost accidentally trample it.
Oh no,
But,
not the orphan.
Yeah, but aside from that, little event occurs as you.
Targon would easily be able to dart out in front of his behemoth to pick up the orphan, obviously. Being at the same speed as his behemoth.
You absolutely yank. You leave the seat, get him out of there, and just be more careful as you proceed to Gate Morrow. It's probably Chrome does get up very early.
Very early.
And in fact, Flynn had to kind of adapt his sleep schedule to fit yours because a lot of these trainings happen very early in the morning. We'll say it's like 5:30 or 6 as you leave Gate Morrow. You see kind of the vague silhouette of the sun hidden behind the overcast, inclement weather.
And plus, he needed to get up early today anyway to make sure that he's getting out to where he needs to go at a decent time.
Right. But yeah, you kind of see this big silhouette of the sun kind of creeping over the horizon as you leave through Gate Morrow, following the map that was printed off for you. You begin following the King's Road northwest until you reach Noble Lane, in which case you'll turn to the northeast. Follow the road there. Now, Dante informed you to collect bear traps. You're not really sure what to look for.
He told me to be careful and to look for bear traps.
Be careful and to look for bear traps, yeah. So go roll me a perception check. Roll me 2 for the whole journey as you just kind of watching out, just not really sure what you're looking for as a fresh layer of snow covers the roads.
I see everything!
Nice. The 27 was for Noble Lane. As you continue onwards, probably half of your journey over at this point.
Remember, they did pick up one of them and lay it on its side or something.
Perhaps having stopped at one point to, kind of stretch your legs and let the behemoth rest a little bit. You make out in the snow this kind of slightly weird, not indentation, a slight kind of metallic thing poking out of the snow on the side.
Metallic thing.
Almost looks like a spike or something.
All right, let's pick it up.
Yeah, you walk over, check it out, clear out some of the snow, and you see what was a spike is actually one of the massive metallic pythons that you think at one point was used to embed this bear trap into the ground. As the bear trap is probably a good 3 feet in diameter if the teeth were unhinged. Really large. It is definitely a design for bears or something much larger. As the complex machinations your head, as you're not terribly mechanically minded, but you do know that this could seriously cripple either you or something as large as your behemoth. Yes. As you glance about, you see a couple of others. I would say with your 27, you make out 3 bear traps in total. 2 of which are still kind of pythoned to the ground, though they are disarmed. And you can roll my athletics checks for those to try and remove them. Or if you are proficient in, or if you have thieves' tools, you can try and use that to get them out.
Thieves' tools. What do I look like, a rogue?
Okay.
No,
So yeah.
I guess he's gonna try and use it. Try and get them out. What was that, strength?
Athletics, please.
You mean strength? 10.
You heave away at the first bear trap, and not only is it embedded quite deeply into the ground, you think the pythons are probably a good 3 feet long. You determine that the ground is also quite frozen, and you're also kind of having to burrow your way through snow to even get a good look at this thing. So 10 will not cut it. Roll me the next one.
18.
For the second bear trap, you remember Flane's word, lift with your legs, Dragonborn dude! And you do so as you rip the pythons out of the ground with, considerably more gusto than you had before. But you do notice lifting with your legs absolutely does help, as the second bear trap is yours. So you can add 2 Beastmaster's bear traps, which I will add to your inventory.
Can I whistle to my behemoth to see if it could like take out the python on the one that I could? I mean, it's a big guy. It's a big dude.
He said he was adding 2 of them to your inventory, so I'm assuming there's 2 of them.
There's
3.
a third
There's
one.
3.
There's a third one that I couldn't take out of the ground.
Yeah, I'll roll my animal handling check to see if you could effectively communicate what it is you want your behemoth to do.
I have animal handling.
Nice.
I am kind of good at animal handling.
Okay.
Okay.
The behemoth generally gets the idea that you want the bear trap to move, but when it nudges it with its snout, it finds it snugly planted into the ground with the pythons.
Alright, well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. So, Katrogrum will just, like, heave a sigh, shake his head in a kind of adoring manner, and then, like, heft the already removed bear traps onto the cart, I guess.
Nice.
If that can actually work. And then head out.
Nice, okay.
Why is Morgul at a gladiatorial arena? I don't remember this at all.
The rest of you can explain that if you like.
Yeah, it's pointing at it. It apparently the gladiatorial arena has been frowned on for a long time and generally not used, but then, like with recent chaos, it has re-emerged. So that is Fight Club.
That is very popular Fight Club. Alrighty, so 2 bear traps in tow. Let's get going.
All right, I have added the bear traps and their description into your inventory. As the behemoth slowly gets rolling once again, plowing through the snow. Once again, the behemoth doesn't really seem to like the snow very much, though.
Of course not.
It isn't a great hindrance. It is a quite strong creature. But as a reptile, it naturally prefers more warm weather, as you plow through the snow, eventually reaching what you can... I should have said that before the bear traps, you pass through a small valley-type area, perhaps a small incline on each side, maybe 10, 12 feet high, wherein you see blood kind of staining the snow, and bits and pieces of creatures kind of sticking up at weird angles from the snowbanks.
You're welcome.
Anything interesting?
As you investigate, you discern most of them to be wolves. However, you do find one corpse that almost looks like a lion, with one of its wings just totally just gone, and most of its body just kind of cut from head to toe, just absolutely mauled by something.
Nothing I'm familiar with.
I'd say you know what wolves are, but I don't think you've seen a manticore before.
Well,
Some kind of
wolves
horrible
I
beast.
understand. Wolves are wolves, but the,
Yeah.
the manticore, I have no idea what.
Mhm.
Because I was thinking, I might be able to like harvest some of its spines or something for something interesting, but I only have
Mhm.
herbalism.
Yeah, you could roll a nature check to see if you know the beast.
Woo! Nope.
No, you never heard of this creature. You know, the Leonic Empire was so called because there's lots of large cats and lions and beasts of prey in it.
But
Not
this
to
does
mention,
look like one of them.
and this is sort of a lion, but yeah, this is monstrous. You have no idea what this
It's
is.
got a lot of spikes on it for a lion.
Yeah.
That's about it. All right. He's gonna check for he sees this blood splatters. He notices sign of a battle. Can he tell how fresh the blood is?
Yeah, roll me an investigation check.
Oh, you mean another intelligence check? Gotcha. That's a crit.
Yeah, you determine this blood is approximately 2 in the afternoon. So it's about 18 hours fresh. At this point, the snow kind of keeps a little bit wet, but if it could have dried, it would have. And you can kind of
What-
tell the cold atmosphere has preserved the corpses relatively well. But knowing what little you know about inclement weather, you determined that this definitely occurred in like the last 18 hours or so.
So he leaves at 6 a.m. and is in the middle of Noble Lane at 2 p.m.?
No, the thing happened at 2 p.m. yesterday.
Got it. So you basically went full Sherlock Holmes and like did the math in your head.
Yeah. Additionally, with your crit, I would say that you determine via the cauterization. There's an inherent lack of blood on many of the corpses, and you find those wounds have been effectively sealed shut by some kind of heat force. Dragi's Sunblade would definitely come to your mind with that crit.
Gotcha.
Additionally, you notice a great deal of the snowbank has fallen in an avalanche, perhaps, or something more sinister, as all carriage tracks or footprints have gone away, but the corpses are still there.
He would probably also find a arcane hand cavity in the snow or ice.
No, that'd be gone too. With 18 hours of light snowfall, yeah, that'd be gone.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Still
so
be kind of funny to
Kachagram
find a handprint, though.
is
Just a
walking
giant
by
handprint,
here.
like, what the heck happened here?
It's like Gravity Falls. Then
Mm-hmm.
it zooms out, and it's a handprint inside of a larger handprint.
Mm.
Yeah, he's gonna take this in mind, and he's gonna start trekking off again, but he's gonna be really, really attentive to possible threats. Or I'm guessing this is what they were talking about whenever he said "be careful."
Yes, this does kind of ring a menacing bell as you proceed through the snowfield, walking through the valley. You have to divert your cart a little bit to avoid this massive snowbank that has fallen into the valley. But after that, the snow becomes shallower and shallower until you begin to hear the clack of your behemoth's talons as it begins to walk on what you can only assume is paved stone.
Well, that's odd.
As you see a pine forest growing closer and closer, and below it, far smaller and almost impractically small, a kind of iron bar fence that stretches off far to the east and west. You think you found your way to Dawnfield Estate.
Does it have a giant plaque on it saying Dawnfield Estate?
I'm
It
not
does
close
not.
enough to see that yet.
It does not. But yes, as you approach, you see a couple of figures, their armor kind of glinting in the snowy light. You definitely recognize the make. It does appear to be the same branding as Draji. As one of them holds up a hand, like, "Hold there! State your business, please."
I'm here with a cart of miscellaneous equipment for Miss Dawnfield. It arrived here yesterday.
I kind of look at each other for a second. Yes. We've been expecting you. Apologies. We don't have many of your kind out here. Right this way, please. They open the
He
gate.
looks up to the sky and he says, "I wonder why." Before heading on in.
You hear one of them whisper to the other, like, "Now there are two of them."
Now they're multiplying.
As the behemoth kind of slowly, methodically walks through the gate, you see the carriage top, its massive girth almost scraping the top of the gate
How
as you
much
go
did you
through.
guys give me?
And one of the one of the guards kind of like, playing like airway control, just kind of like motioning you forwards. Stop. I think it'll fit. All right, come through.
Air traffic control, always making everything slower.
Oh,
Dang TSA.
As one of the knights mounts up on a pony and begins to lead you through. You pass through the pine forest, past a couple of small frozen lakes. The way kind of being dotted by the occasional lamppost or stall. Occasionally you'll see like a servant house or small commune. It's definitely a noble estate and not a small one. As
A lot
you
larger than anything in Necrozo, definitely.
you saw the front of kind of the iron bar fence facade, and it kind of stretched off, and you can't see like if it's a box or where there are corners. It's just this massive property. As slowly, you come up upon what you can only assume is the Dawnfield Manor. This large, it's
Yay.
almost castle-like structure. It has an outward-facing wall, parapets, and towers. But additionally, you see a more traditional noble manor further in, made mostly of kind of the same pine logging, wonderful masonry, and looks very homey inside. You kind of see these fireplaces and warm lights blazing from the many windows dotting the front of the manor as you are led through the front gate. You're approached by a older, middle-aged individual, kind of partly bald in the front, and his hair kind of almost spikes up to the back. Has sort of like this hawk-like appearance, kind of, this hooked nose, pointed chin. Says, "Greetings. I am Versio. I'm told you are a companion of Draji's."
Katrargon will nod.
Wonderful. As you may or may not know, you've all been invited to dinner this evening. The servants will happily take care of your carriage and bring whatever you need upstairs to your guest quarters.
He looks back to the mountain of stuff that he was given from yesterday, and he says, "Well, I don't need most of this. I'm usually traveling light." Just and then he looks down and hops off of his behemoth, and he says, "Be sure he is well fed. He deserves it."
Of course. We shall take the best care of. We shall put your beast and the carriage up in the stable house, just down the road. You may have seen it on your way here.
Thank you. He turns to the behemoth and he gives him an affectionate snout ruffle.
kind of scrapes the snow a little bit with its feet. And one of the servants kind of walks over and begins to like take what would equate to reins, and the behemoth kind of just starts moving of its own volition back the way you came. And the servant almost gets dragged along. He's like, "Oh, sorry.
Don't worry, he knows where he's going.
Mm.
He doesn't need to be walked, he just needs to be guided."
Yeah, as you have your things, very bare essentials. Versio kind of looks up and notes, like, "Are you in need of additional regalia, sir? Can't help but notice your travel attire seems to be somewhat thin in places."
Monk is made to endure the elements where he needs. And I am of my most regal attire, actually. I will be fine.
Of course, sir. Right this way. I'll show you to your friends.
He falls behind.
Yeah, absolutely. As you guys we'll go back to Draji and friends. As you guys have concluded breakfast, Ina at one point comes in there and just starts hanging out as you guys sit about, just thoroughly enjoying yourselves, warming yourselves near the fireplace. There's a certain air of, how do you say, kind of that wintry hominess. The idea that you are inside where it's warm and outside is cold. It lends a certain sense of snugness to the whole situation. As Dante, you study, Draji kind of sits about briefing you guys on the various personages you are likely to meet at the family dinner. Ina kind of idly nibbling on things and checking out some of the upholstery, paintings, suits of armor in the area.
I would look to see if Ina's still wearing her tore up tunic from yesterday.
While Telkar has offered to mend it, yes, she is still.
When Draji's done explaining about how the family dinner works and things, she'll look to Ina's garb and remember. Oh yeah, Ina, do you want to go see the other hits that I have that you might like?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then I'll escort her to my room.
All right. Being back in your room grants you mixed feelings. You still see some of your teenage or childhood belongings dotting the walls, primitive as they may have been. A few paintings, some of the personal classes you took, kind of noble lessons, if you will, on art. Some of which are fairly primitive, but you gave them your best shot. Your bed still has that kind of same familiar scent, brings back many memories, both good and bad. As you show her to your walk-in closet, and she's like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, Draji's gonna be like rather accustomed to this, so she'll just be like, "Yeah, so over on the far right-hand corner towards the back, there should be a wall of them. Pick whichever is your favorite." Now,
as you kind of give her a general direction, she like vanishes like into the columns of clothes, never to be seen again.
Oh no, Ina! I'll like try to follow her in like all of the massive mounds of clothes.
Like, wow, it's dark back here.
It's dark back here. Yeah, she'll wait. Yeah, she'll light it up. She'll use the light spell, try to find her, be like, Ina.
Searching through the forest of clothing.
But yeah, I do have some images to share with you. Something
Excellent.
that she might like. There's that one. There is.
Still loading for me.
Yeah.
I'll give you my appraisal whenever it comes in.
There's this one.
Discord is giving me the poop symbol on these pictures.
No.
Try could you try posting them in like D&D discussion?
Yeah.
I've noticed servers tend to do a little better with images.
It might be from where I got it. Wait. Why is my name white in the chat? That's weird.
Which chat? Our private chat?
No.
Mm.
It might do the poop symbol again. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it.
symbol again now.
Yeah, hang on. I figured it out. I'm just gonna do this.
You're leading Ada through the closet, like pointing at all these different pieces of clothing, but there's just like little symbols of poop hanging from hangers. Just
She's
like,
like, wow, incredible.
oh, that's slightly bigger poop.
Did it really?
Okay, we'll just use flavor.
Yeah. That sucks. Because I went and found these images and I was excited.
Yeah. Hopefully you can send them to me later. Discord just doesn't behave sometimes. It's bad, but this way everybody can kind of get it in their mind's eye and believe it how they want. So, yeah, you lead her through and kind of come to the section of your closet that is attributed to overcoats, hoods, and mantles. All kinds of things that Ina seems to enjoy wearing. You're not sure if she enjoys wearing it because that's all she has, or if she finds that comfortable after so long, but it's sort of this simplistic tunic with this kind of hood stretched over. A lot of what you would see like a peasant wearing, but at the same time kind of more fine. You see the weave is nicer, slightly embroidered in places.
Look at that thread count.
It's a nice thread count.
That thread count. Yeah, it's just whatever. I'm a little bummed.
All right.
Whatever.
So would you like to describe what you show her to?
Let's see. There is one that is sort of similar to a tunic, except it's extended, kind of like a short dress. She could wear some like some of the warm, what do you call them? Like the brown wool pants that sort of would go underneath,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like this blush pink. It's buttoned up on the hip though. It has its own stitched in pouch. So if she wanted anything on her personages, that's like really easy to get, like
Nice. Yeah.
like her little totem thingy. That would be stored in there, and that has a hood. Some of them are kind of dressy with all of their hoodiness. There's one that's kind of like a caramel brown, and it has a fur lining, and it's also very dressy. There's another one that is black that has gold embroidery around the hems. The sleeves are sort of long and expanded. The bodice is outlined, and the hood of it is actually sort of long too, or it sort of drapes down the back. And there's another one that would be green, and it's far more simple, not nearly as embroidered as the black one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be one that she would prefer most. And it has like a bronze embroidery along the lining of the sleeve, some on the arm, some on the bodice, even around the hood. And then there would be like this really simple gray one where it's like this mix of a dress, and then there would be like a half shoulder cape that has a hood that's supposed to go with it. And there's all these intricate linings in the sleeves where it's kind of like a Celtic design, just to give it an idea.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's also on the like the bottom of the dress too, and it's fur lined. It's mostly meant for winter. But she can have a winter one and a spring one. Like if she wants multiples, like Jaji would say, if there's more in here that you see that you like, I doubt that I'll ever wear them personally. I prefer my armor now.
She kind of looks wondrously at them, just like, wow, I've never had more than one set of clothes. Just as you kind of guide her through the various tunics and cloaks and hoods, She does end up kind of opting for the green one, as it's kind of the closest equivalent to the ruined one she currently wears. Additionally, she kind of sifts through, and she's like kind of wondering if she can like mix and match, because she kind of likes she likes some of these darker stockings on some of these tunics. And at the same time, she also likes kind of the fur-lined tunic, because it's like I was getting pretty cold on the ride over yesterday. So, but yeah, so she kind of gets a few different things, and the final product is a few clothes that had kind of been wrapped up nicely by one of the servants, and into this small, almost like briefcase, sort of like kind of between a briefcase and a steamer trunk, if you want to say that. You can carry it with one hand, but it's sizable enough for a good set of clothing. Her current attire is kind of the same, kind of almost emerald, slightly bluish green. Kind of the simple thermal stockings. A new pair of boots, because her old ones were getting very ratty.
Oh yeah. If she wants some boots, there's plenty.
A couple of fur-lined gloves that are kind of darker, that she can wear out in the snowscape, and also kind of more of a wintry fur-lined hood that she can have, and that's in the suitcase. But for now, it's just the simple linen green hood and cloak. And you gotta say, kind of the teal and green colors seem to like really pop on her. Makes her eyes look good. And she's just, wow, thanks, Draji. She kind of gives you she starts to give you a hug, and like uncertain if that's okay, and then goes in for a full one.
Yep, and Draji would return it very warmly. She's like, if there's anything else in here that you see that you'll want later, you're more than welcome.
She says thanks, but I get the impression that this is it for me. I'm not one of those noble women that really like to shop for clothes, I guess. Though you never know until you try, I guess.
Yeah, well, I never really was a shopping girl myself. These were all sort of gifted, and I just kind of kept them in here.
All right. New attires assembled. And the clothes that she has picked out, those of them that don't immediately fit you are quite a bit larger than Ina. You send to the local seamstress to have refit. Meanwhile, the rest of you kind of sit about the tables. At this point, Mr. Burns arrives once again and approaches you, Edgar. He's like, hello, is there Mr. Zelgius here?
Nick, he's talking to you.
I didn't hear the part that was to me. Sorry.
He said he approaches Edgark.
Okay, I missed that part.
Is there Mr. Zelgius here? Kind of lowers his monocle a little bit. Kind of looks around, nobody answering.
That would be me. He's just so relaxed, assumably still sitting at the table, just
yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know that. He's still looking at his spell book, and he's like, "Oh, yes, that would be me. Sorry."
I was informed by Lord Nairless to acquaint you with a certain passerby who's staying with us.
Oh yes. He gets up and approaches.
Yes, of course. I assume any of you may come. But of course, this was something mentioned by Nairless that our Dragonborn guests might enjoy.
Certainly. I guess I've called them myself. That's fine.
Not yet. He will be soon, though. It's getting closer. It's getting closer to noontime.
Okay.
And Katrogam should be there soon.
It's starting to get later in the day, and I'm just putting this in as an aside, but you can continue with Edgar, of course. But Dante at this point would be kind of done, kind of staying inside. He'll probably go take a stroll around the estate and kind of gauge their defenses.
Go outside, everyone's on lockdown.
That's right. Don't want to spread the beer virus.
That Vecna virus.
That's right, the Vecna virus. He'll just go on a stroll, kind of looking to gauge military strength.
Sure. As you kind of brush off your plate, Dante leave the bell with disdain and begin walking about the property.
In his fancy, oh so fancy garb. He looks like he fits there.
Yeah.
And it's up to you. I wasn't clear on whether you guys were still wearing your funeral garb or if you had transferred into your normal traveling gear.
Dante would have transferred into his normal traveling gear. He wouldn't want to draw unwarranted attention.
Sure, yeah.
Wearing your old rags will draw unwarranted attention, Donnie. You're in a noble estate.
Looking like a homeless man isn't such a bad thing.
Looking like a homeless man
And I'm an honored guest here. I can wear whatever I want.
Oh, have mercy. Drowsy's gonna have fits. I wish I'd known this sooner.
Okay. If there wants to be a small amount of roleplay to try and convince Dante to wear something else, but I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Edric will be probably wearing a mix and match of his normal traveling attire and some of the nicer things that he got, because he also doesn't want to stand especially out, but he wants to fit in.
Yeah, now that I know the images in my head, and it's clear that Dante still looks like a homeless man. She'll go up to him.
He doesn't actually look like a homeless man. He doesn't look like a super rich guy, but he doesn't look like he has nothing to wear. He's wearing the robes of Death Defiance, which are somewhat nice. So
From
like
what Austin said, from the previous description is that they aren't tattered or ratty in any way, but you can tell that they're ancient.
Yeah, they're very old-fashioned.
Right.
It's like your grandpa's sleepwear.
Honestly, Dante kind of likes that look.
Dante's a grandpa? But yeah.
Kind of.
Joshy would more along the lines just go to Dante and have some mild concern and express before dinner tonight, do you think that you can put on the attire that I bought for you the other day? I know it's funeral garb, but it's probably the best that you'll have, and we need to look our best for the dinner.
Dante will nod.
Begrudgingly.
You sound so sad. Dante will nod.
And Dante will be putting on his garb, and then he'll be walking out and engaging defenses in the nice garb.
All right. Do you want to wear all aspects of the garb?
No, just enough to make the cut.
Okay, so no mask.
No mask.
Yes, mask, obviously.
I thought it'd be really funny if Dante just started wearing the mask all the time. It's like his first fashion revelation. It's like, wow, this is fun.
Well, I do
trying to mimic the Dawnfield.
I do want to mention something that I wrote down earlier that I meant to give to you, Austin, but I was distracted by our message board with Edric. Relatively early in the day, would like to take the opportunity to send a sending spell, or to cast a sending spell. And he would like to send another message to his probably his sister again, since she got the message before. And this is if my mouse will stop trying to work against me, this is the thing.
Okay, I'm a look.
And you take the time to craft the response if you need to, but that's really...
Did you send me something?
You sent it in.
I put it in the D&D discussion.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, and this is just to whom?
His sister, since that's who he sent it to before. She's received one before.
Yeah, you receive back. He's like, Edjark, doing fine, destroyed mirrors. 1 second, let me look up something real quick. find the name of something. I'm gonna find me that name. Okay. Oh, there's names.txt. There we go. Okay, I knew it was somewhere. Yeah, she says, Edgark doing fine. Mirrors destroyed for some reason, question mark. Iskarith traveling. Moot meeting. When coming home.
He's going to mull over that message. He doesn't answer immediately. Could you do me a big favor, and whenever you have a chance, type that out to me?
Sure.
But in any case. Only 13 words, huh? Fair enough.
Yeah. You're a sister. Your sister can be fairly succinct when she wants to. Kind of puts up with your antics, so she, communicates in the new Dragonborn elite speech. All right. As you send out the message, simply, few moments before, as you sit belly full at the table, Telkar eventually gets up. He begins to munch on some cold sausages and looks at something called a newspaper, which apparently some nobles get.
Newspaper?
My goodness!
Your understanding is that it is a kind of papyrus that is handwritten and distributed to noble families to inform them of various large happenings in the kingdom, or in the empire, I should say.
Now, Edric would be interested in a newspaper. Oh man, he would. Oh my god, I'm just now realizing that Edgark would be like all over this idea of a newspaper. He would think that is the coolest thing. It's just news about other things happening around the kingdom sent to your door. It's information being brought to you.
Telkar eats a sausage like, well, the dwarves did it first. We had sky runes. Of course, this is a little bit more approachable. Don't have to go outside.
Also fascinating. Yeah, well, I imagine that this person comes looking for Edgark while he's probably like looking over Telkar's shoulder, almost annoyingly, just trying to poke his nose into the paper.
Your Dragonborn snout just over his shoulder.
Dragonborn snoot.
Snoot.
Boop that snoot.
So this gentleman comes looking for Edgark, and Edgark follows him wherever he's going to take him to meet somebody.
Absolutely. He says, yes, if you would come with me, anyone else may. Feel free to come. It seems most of your company has retired to their various amusements this morning. As he leads you through the halls, Telkar kind of waves you off and says, I'll come with you later.
Hey guys, don't forget about me. Guys, hey, don't forget about Katralgrim.
We haven't forgotten you. You are imminent.
As Edgark, you walk through the halls behind Mr. Burns, says, yes, service area awaits you in the oculary and library. Do we consider it he is an honored guest just like yourself? And do let me know if I can be of any assistance. I'll be right outside the door.
Thank you very much, sir. A library.
Oh no, we're not gonna see him for days.
Okay,
Edgark was definitely going to ask if they had a library that he could peruse.
Hey, Edgark plus a library is equal to a deadly weapon.
A deadly weapon of mass destruction. Edgark in a library.
No, a weapon of mass instruction.
Weapon of mass destruction. Perfect.
That's good.
All right, 1 second. I have some specific music picked out for this.
Ooh.
Oh no, he has library.
Hmm.
I have Viserion music.
It's just old ladies going, shh.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh, this is really good music. I need to add that to the list anyway. 1 second. Okay, hold on. Okay, and then there is this one. And then one more. So this one. Okay. Got both of those. Sorry for the wait, guys. I usually prep all this beforehand, but I rolled a D100 for some interesting NPCs that could be in. And this character just so happens to be more musically intensive.
Ah.
Oh no.
Is
Is it Blaven? Is it Fave?
it Blaven Fave? Yeah. There we go.
Oh dear.
As you walk into the library, you are greeted with a cascade of papers blowing past your face, just kind of panning the way as you see an interesting, kind of eccentric looking figure in the room, seemingly conducting the papers as they kind of fly together and seemingly sentient. One of them kind of like smacks one of the pages and like the last page gets into line, and then they all collapse into a binder and kind of land on the table with a thunk. As you see this individual.
Oh no.
Who's this?
Hello! It is good to meet your acquaintance. To whom do I owe the pleasure?
Who's he talking to?
Edgar.
Oh,
Yeah. Edgark, being impressed by this display, is eager to say, yes, I'm Edgark Zelgius. And who might you be?
My friend Zelgius, I am the great author, composer, scriptwriter, Assyrian, the ostentatious, title pending.
Nice.
Industrious and self-absorbed.
I wonder who that reminds us of.
I was informed there was a scholar of Arkanzel's artifacts in this very manor, very nearby, and I just had to meet you for myself.
Indeed. Well, I am honored to be so important to someone else. I say as I kind of lift my hat slightly. And I go to shake his hand, as that is the custom here.
He grabs your hand and shakes it vigorously with both of his. What an utter pleasure. And I see you have the great hat of final thoughts upon your brow as we speak. Well, not anymore, you have it in your hand. But how do you do, great hat?
I tilt my head so that Marv can speak to him if he so wishes.
Middling. I've been a little better, I guess. It speaks! The marvel! Sir Edgearch, I must offer you my sincerest condolences. For not having seen you or beheld you and your marvelous presence sooner. We have much to discuss.
Oh my.
As he walks over to the far wall and pulls down a map. Behold! My great Arkanzel folio! Whips out a baton from seemingly nowhere. You see upon the map various locations with incredibly detailed scribblings and details. Circles and squares and stars, seemingly illustrating possible locations for Arkanzel's various artifacts.
Oh my. This is impressive. I start studying it intensely. I'm just like all over this map.
Yes, it is a pet project of mine. Well, in between, I've been hard at work on my Leonesia Historia folio, a comprehensive listing of all major events in this wonderful empire's hospitable as it is history, dating all the way back to the Magi Wars.
Edgearch really likes this guy.
But I will say, one of my deepest thoughts this day is the reunition of the great Arkanzel's artifacts with his wonderful protege. It is as though it were a story written in a fairy tale. Kind of looks off into the distance dreamily and raises his hand to the sky.
Indeed, I set out on a mission of my own to do so. I have admittedly been waylaid by various happenings, but that is my eventual goal as well.
Wonderful, then we are of one accord. Please do look to your heart's content. Meanwhile, I have heard certain rumors, kind of glances about conspiration, that you occupy the company of the Cardinal Heroes. True?
Truly, they are here today as well.
A scholar and a warrior of great renown. I must also converse with them. For I have a certain, daughter, really quite removed. She insisted that I must interview you all. Surely you heard of me. And the name Assyrian begins to ring a bell as you actually saw the name in the newspaper earlier. Apparently, he writes for this newspaper and sort of inquires as various personages of noble or historical standing.
Yes, I did actually see your name in the newspaper just earlier, no less.
Wonderful. I always make sure the Dawnfields get my first edition. They are avid sponsors. I get the impression they have a deep appreciation for all historically relevant objects. For example, this oculary. He glances up at the ceiling, and you see this kind of multiple-storied library. You see on the second story this kind of wooden, almost ladder-like projection running up, and you see on this platform elevated only by a simple stone pillar, it almost looks like a sphere with rings upon rings and spheres orbiting those. My understanding is that a certain Dawnfield many years ago was a theologian of some regard. He took it upon himself to construct this likeness of, from what I understand, the multiverse. It is quite an astonishing feat.
Oh my.
As you begin to feel your mind compound a little bit as like you're watching the map and he just keeps pointing out more and more interesting things.
Edgark is very swept up into all of this. He's loving this. This whole interaction just speaks to him.
But naturally, you will abandon all of your friends and join me on an adventure to reclaim the artifacts, yes?
Oh my, it's... Well, he's looking at the map. He's teetering. He's thinking. He's realizing. Edgark, Edgark has made some very close attachments in a short time, which he's very rarely experienced in his life. Having run from much of what he had known only a year or two before, if I remember. After a moment of thought, he has to turn to make sure I still got his name. Asarion. Is that pronounced correctly?
Mm-hmm.
He turns to Asarion and says, I would love to. However, as I said before, I've been waylaid by various happenings. I will not be able to do so immediately, but our dreams are shared.
I understand. I'm a busy individual myself. However, I just thought that you might decide to take me up on the initiative, as I plan to leave tomorrow. Venturing out into the great desert of Urs. A favorite of mine. Love the hot weather. Imbues you with a sense of peace. Inner warmth.
The desert of Urs, you say?
Ah, my kingdom for a desert. Yes, as you can see on the map here, there is a certain hub, if you will. I have rumors of the various artifacts, but Arkansale spent quite a bit of time abroad, as you may have heard. Specifically, he spent a great deal of time researching the ancient precursors, those known as the Silver Folk in the desert. As you know, these precursors were assumably the first blessed by the goddess Mistra. The original spellcasters, or original wizards. I suppose dragons are the original spellcasters. Sorcerers, though, mind you.
Rather.
So, this hub, it is supposedly a repository of a great deal of Arkansale's knowledge. And apparently, there is an object, much like the one you wear upon your head, a scented object of sorts, called Arkansale's cartographer. It is said that this object will allow for one to navigate not just the ethereal plane, but also to the other objects in question. Seven there are in total, cartographer notwithstanding. I get the impression that was not one of the originals.
I see. And this would be found in the desert of Urs. Whereabouts exactly?
Well, it is even unknown to myself. However, looking at historical maps, there were large cities that were inhabited by the primitive Imperials back in the day, before the great comet of Argos struck the desert and rendered it considerably, more wastelandish. Additionally, there was a demon or two rampaging, and, the city was lost to the ages, but it is understood to be far to the west of Morgulad.
Right, I understand. Yes, demons. Yes, that makes sense. Well, I very much appreciate your offer, and while I do intend to take you up eventually, there are a few things I must settle first.
Of course. Edjark, it was such a pleasure to meet you. Shakes your hand again, it's more genuinely. And you think you see, just something vaguely familiar about this guy, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
This is when Katrogrim comes in with his gauntlet.
This is actually where Katrogrim, or Dante spies Katrogrim in his carriage pull up the carriage, and Behemoth are pulled away. And Katrogrim is being led into the manor by Versio. Katrogrim and Dante, you spy each other. Whether you decide to converse or not is up to you.
The cart and whatnot have already been pulled off in the other direction.
Yeah. You don't really need to aid him.
No, I am walking alone with this gentleman into the establishment to meet up with you folk, actually. Looking for spies effect now, I see. Wouldn't looking around for things that are suspicious be suspicious in and of it? Maybe you are secretly the spy of Vecna. But Katrogrim will nod to him, thank his seer for leading him over, and just hop over with Dante and say, "Any news?"
Of course. It seems you have found your companions already.
Well,
do let me or one of the other servants know if you require any assistance. We are here to serve.
Katrogrim will nod. He turns to Dante and say, "Any news?" Anything that needs to be shared.
Oh
I have
no.
really high quality eggs. Like,
Dante will kind of shrug. We were attacked on the road, but we managed to overcome them.
I saw evidence of the struggle.
Did you get the bear traps?
A couple of them. They're in the cart.
Good.
Let's hope that the people here don't see us with ill intent because of them.
I doubt it. Not with Draji as a member of the party.
Trotter nods and then looks out. You out here alone?
I'm his cloak of political immunity.
Not political immunity, political protection, because you need to be protected from the politics.
Political protection +2.
Yeah.
+2.
I'm a +2. I'm a rare item, guys. Or no, I'm an uncommon.
That's rare. It's rare.
I'm a rare, guys.
Oh no, she's a rare.
I'm a rare.
At the question of if Dante's alone, he would nod as he continues on the stroll.
As you walk about, you become better acquainted with the battlements and settlement that is the Dawnfield Estate. Again, you see many structures that aren't part of the main manor, these smaller servant houses, and as you glance in through one of the windows, you do see that they don't appear to be horrible living conditions. This is probably better than average peasantry would fare in or around Leandra. You see, it is kind of like a bunk house, but an ample fireplace, looks like lots of food and provisions lining the counters. As you walk about, you see their own private garden, a large well that is currently being drawn water from by one of the servants. As you walk about, you find that there are two main gates. There is the western gate and the northern gate. The western, the one you came in through, and the northern is apparently this kind of trail leading up to Lake Kelownaji and the fishery that seems to supply the manor with a great deal of self-sufficient food supply.
What about water supply? Do they draw it from a well, or is there a river?
There is a well there, yes, that a servant is currently drawing from. Additionally, from what you know of Lake Kelownaji is that it is in fact a fresh lake. So, hypothetically, if you had a means of purifying it, you could go forth and draw from there, which is pretty nearby. In general, you get the impression the Dawnfield Estate is, while beautiful, is foremost practical, and is designed to withstand a siege of considerable caliber.
Excellent.
Probably a good few months, perhaps 2 or 3 months,
Dante,
depending on the extent of their stores. Right? You haven't seen those yet.
Dante would go ahead at some point while he's on his stroll and draw some of the water out of the well, and kind of give it a light taste to see if it's similar. Basically, he's checking to see if it's similar to the infected water that we had, the cursed water.
Gonna taste it.
Yeah, I mean he's
I'm
not
gonna take a little sip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll Constitution save.
Yeah. You take a sip of the water. Judging by the fact that there are individual just past you, just has a couple buckets full of water, and you've already drank some of the water that assumably came from the groundwater here or the lake. It tastes about the same. You think that it needs to be boiled. You taste, just dirt, little
Yeah.
moss in there. But
Alright.
yeah.
Dante will stop one of the servants, and he'll ask him, "Are you in charge of fetching the water?"
Well, I do. Hold on a second. I do whatever Lady Willow tells me to do, which in this case means fetching some water for her bath.
Dante will nod, and he'll wave in such a way as to say, "Carry on."
Yes, sir. Do take care. Continues on his way. You can tell this guy hasn't gotten much sleep. He's obviously bedraggled.
Oh, and then Dante will kind of continue his stroll before returning to the common area.
Sure. Do you want to go out of your way to view any of the peripheries, or do you just want to kind of stick closer to the manor?
Yeah, I mean, Dante would want to explore as much as he can during a stroll, so yeah, going to the periphery.
Sure. Yeah.
Would
You walk
Dante's such a busybody. What the?
you walk to the northern gate. Simply some small conversation happens about what's that way, and it's like, oh, the fishery, sir. And so you decide to peruse that.
Is the fishery poisoned? No.
Are the fish poisons? Are the fish the bandits?
So they're
They're
the
part of the
bandits.
Gnomish Underground.
Actually, the Gnomish Underground works for us now.
The aquatic
right.
The aquatic underground. The aquatic underwater. Okay. Yeah, you approach the fishery, and you do make out what you can only really call in your limited experience a duchy. Essentially, this small, almost township that has erected itself along the coast in the shadow of Dawnfield Manor. You see you see fishing barges coming in and out of this small but effective and efficient port. And you see a familiar face as Atreus walks in civilian clothing with just kind of a rope with a brace of fish on his back toward you. Says, "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
Well, and you?
Well, catches have been better. We've pretty well got the lake thawed out. There's enough of a tide that it usually doesn't freeze to begin with, but catches, well, limited to ice corgi and the occasional salmon.
I see you have dropped your sword to pick up a fishing line.
Yeah. Well, one of the few places in the world I would say I'm pretty at peace. Besides, I've been this way 100 times. They know me pretty well. Usually give me nice spots. So what do you think? Kind of looks about, just positing the question about the general area.
Efficient. Could be improved.
Yeah. Well, the idea is, well, originally, if we build our backs to a lake that is controlled on all sides by the Empire, assumably we could ride some boats out, get all the important people out, go down the Vildai River, and hopefully hit up Durham, assuming that hasn't been hit too. We Dawnfields have a certain understanding of military tactics. But of course, over the years, the various servants and passers-by that we have taken into our service have taken to fishing. And we benefit, they benefit. We're pretty much self-sufficient out here.
Dante will nod in understanding.
There's a lot of territory to control, though. There's, well, you probably saw it on your way through the massive pine forests. We got a couple of small ponds, little creeks and inlets throughout the property. A couple of guard towers here and there, but nothing too crazy. The castle is the main front. You know, Dante, they've been saying some interesting things, though. Some weird happenings in the woods. Some say they're ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Dante will kind of cock an eyebrow at that.
Nothing to faze you guys, I mean. Fighting King of Undeath and all, I mean. You can deal with them, you can deal basically anything, right? Anyways.
One would think.
Gotta go put these in the ice rack. Guys, take care.
Yeah, Dante will nod respectively.
Also, might want to take a bath, Dante. My sister gets kind of aggravated when people smell like ash in her presence.
Ash is
Not-
not such a bad smell.
Not me. That's the other sister. Not me. And they kind of looked at me and just gave me this fat grin. And I said, "Not me."
Yeah, Dante would just kind of, look off to the side. And that's it. Dante would just kind of like start walking.
Okay, yeah. You kind of walk through the small fishing hamlet.
And as Atreus leaves, Dante would kind of mumble quietly to himself, "Peace.
We couldn't hear you.
Peace.
Peace?
Peace."
By way of greeting? Peace?
No.
No. Like,
Okay.
he was just kind of repeating what something that Atreus had said.
Saying that
Gotcha.
this is like one of the few places where he like finds peace or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like mumbling it underneath
I
his
see.
breath. Sort
I
of
see.
disgruntled, I'm assuming.
Okay, gotcha, yeah.
Um,
Katralgrim, while this is no Akrazan fish farm, you do kind of feel this strange sense of serenity here. You're not sure if there's some kind of spiritual resonance here that is like some good spirits are keeping this place secure, but you feel like the taint surrounding you abate ever so slightly. Go and roll me a wisdom save.
Go
Oh,
away.
did Katrogum follow Dante?
yeah.
Oh,
We'll go with that.
I'm surprised
Go
you didn't.
away.
Oh, go away.
As Dante, you look over and you see Katralgrim close his eyes, press his hands together, take a big breath, and you're actually kind of afraid he's either going to pass out or like belch lightning for a second and then lets it out. And you feel like you see Katralgrim get like 3 inches shorter when he does.
I was
Shrug
already
him.
short. How could I be shorter?
Katralgrim, you feel this weight lifted off your shoulders. The strange traumatic events from your vision the other evening have passed for now, as long as you don't think too hard about them. As you focus
I thought too hard about it, dang it.
as you focus your ironclad mind on other matters. As you glance across the water, it really is like a sea. You can't see the far banks. You can see a good deal to the east and west, but it seemingly continues forever. The only disruption of this veritable sea is the occasional mast of a fishing barge in the distance.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Quite peaceful around here, isn't it?
Dante will nod.
If Dante even understands peace.
Peace is just the downtime between dangerous circumstances.
As you see
Indeed,
the
we are to
sorry.
enjoy it as much as we can. I have something to speak with you and the rest of the group about when we get the chance.
What is it of?
That will be when we get the group together. It is of importance, though.
Understood. If that's about it, Dante will start kind of moving back towards the.
I mean,
The-
there's a fishing barge somewhere around here. I'm pretty sure it's really interesting. I mean, Austin mentioned.
I'm just describing the scenery, man. Don't get off my back.
Was there a
The
fishing barge, huh?
has a spy Vecna on board. Plot hook.
Blood hook engaged.
No, we'll continue our little stroll and then eventually reach back to our area.
In the common area.
All right. You guys feel your stomachs kind of collectively rumble as you realize it's about 12:30, 12:45. As you make your way back to the manor, up the stairs to kind of common area, and you realize lunch has not been set there. However, Mr. Burns informs you that, yes, lunch will be held in the main dining area, if you please. Though we can, of course, make arrangements if you would like to have it somewhere else, sirs.
Dante still needs a bath.
What did they ask?
Okay.
So you ventured up to the common area that you ate at for breakfast, but it's relatively empty.
Oh,
I'd say maybe Draja and Ina kind of near the area. You might see them, but no food. And Mr. Burns approaches you and informs you that lunch is served in the main dining hall.
okay, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah, that's
But
fine. Yeah.
it can be arranged if you want it somewhere else.
That'd be okay. We can go to the main dining hall. Dante doesn't really care unless Katralgrim feels differently.
No, big dining hall might feel fine.
And so we set off on our quest to the dining hall.
We just go off without Mr. Burns figuring out where the heck is the dining hall.
So many rooms in this place.
It's almost like someone rich lives here.
Yeah, I wonder.
I would say at some point the phrase was said by Ina as she examined the finery. You're rich.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Raji would sort of have an embarrassed blush and sort of like scratch her head. Be like, yeah, I guess in a way I was blessed.
Yeah, we'll say Draji, Ina, Dante, Katrogam all meet up once again. Edjark, you're still kind of in the study. As Assyrion has while he continues his endless speech, you're honestly impressed with his prose and how he never seems to slow for breath. But at the same time, he appears to be compiling various resources and packing suitcases. Much of which is done through an unseen servant, which kind of flies about, fluttering papers in its wake, gathering all
Does
that he needs.
Arkansas map show anything interesting?
I've definitely been studying it this whole time. Listening as well, but
magical.
Yeah, absolutely. You see a big old question mark. Let me get my notepad out here real quick.
By the way, guys, I have like 10-15 minutes before I have to head out.
Gotcha. Yep, you see a big old question mark over kind of Silveros and the Nentra Lake. It says, inherited by noble, Akenzel's mirror. And let me write that down real quick.
Just write it on the map, yeah.
That's what I was gonna do if he wasn't.
Yeah. Just trying to do it in a way that didn't like pollute the map.
Nah, we don't care. Just pollute the map. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Don't forget the question mark. There we go.
You see some mention of the Mages Guild and Akenzel's staff in the Stone March.
a place I would like to know more about.
Yes. Rather.
And then at last, there is... he hasn't discerned all of the artifacts, but apparently there is some mention of Akenzel's familiar, which you know in your historical times with Akenzel to be a advanced automaton of sort. It was actually kind of imbued with his personality to be the perfect muse to kind of bounce ideas off of. And last it was seen was like kind of aimlessly excavating something near Agathis Abyss.
So Akenzel's Abyss.
Familiar.
There
we go. All right. And the rest is wild speculation and various information that actually, some of it isn't entirely relevant. Like you see him writing down what he wants for lunch on like the side of the page. As Edjark, despite your frantic musings and the great deal of information that has kind of been imparted to you in a short period of time, you do slowly start to feel the effects of hunger. And you realize it's probably been a good 6 hours since you last ate.
Yes, food.
Oh, Edjark's used to ignoring eating. He would like to hang out with I'm going to get his name down. He would like to hang out with Asterion for as long as he can, and also he wants to set up potential future travel plans with him. And more or less ask him some things like, obviously he uses some map. He would like to know if he possesses anything like sending or other means of magically communicating.
Well, a while back I was imparted a certain relic that could assist in this. Do you have in possession a sending stone?
Why, yes, I do.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we can get each other's ley lines figured out, and then we can just communicate that way.
Excellent.
It's like having a home phone, but in your pocket.
It's like a cell phone.
Well, no,
It
it's
is.
no. I was saying it's kind of like a home phone because it's ley lines.
Magical ley line, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, I have Sending Stone can be used to contact the other two stones, which that was the one that we were given by our friends from the Mage Guild. No limits to conversation, like a cell phone, except way better.
Oh, how interesting. It seems this sending stone has already been calibrated to function with mine. You didn't kill anyone I know for it, did you?
No. I actually received this one. Well, it doesn't as much belong to me as it belongs to the companions that I am with currently. I'm holding on to it for them, and occasionally using it. I hope that perhaps I'll be able to get my own sometime.
Right. Well, these objects tend to get around quite a bit. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But, well, fantastic. Feel free to look me up. I plan on venturing into Urs in the near future, but I frequently, Andra, have a study of sorts there, as well as town kind of south of Urs, Zethorn. Though I haven't heard from it in some time. Might need to look it up soon.
Where? What did he say about Zethorn? It was kind of muffled for me.
He also likes to frequent that town, but he hasn't been there in quite some time. He's not sure what's going on down there. And he says he should probably look it up soon. Right. As he kind of finishes giving you this kind of a listing of his schedules and hands it to you, he's like, right, all the dates I'm available, Monday through Friday, working hours only, of course. I value my free time very much.
Very reasonable.
Fantastic.
Edric would like to, if he could, make a copy of that map. He wants to make a copy of it. Well, the relevant parts of it, of course. Probably leaving out the lunch requests and things.
Absolutely. There is a nearby printed copy of a map of Mara, which you can just use as you begin to write down the significant bits.
Okay.
As around lunchtime, Assyrion kind of finishes packing. Right, that should do it. Well, I'm going to go get some chow downstairs, and then I'll probably be leaving.
How long will it take me to copy this map, or can we just assume that it was done?
The aspects of the map are already there. You're just basically copying down some of his less wild notes.
Right.
So you could do it in a couple minutes, probably.
All right. I will say that I'm going to do so, and then I will join him if he's willing to. Wait just a minute.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely. I will be slowly walking that way so you can catch up, but I really am starving. Haven't eaten since yesterday.
Oh my. Understandable then. I'll see.
Oh, well, my record is probably a week or two, but when working, one must feed thy conscience. As he slowly exits, begins to whistle a merry tune as papers kind of float about him. Says, "Oh yes, that would go great to my folio." Kind of writes it down. As you begin copying it down, the rest of you slowly trickle downstairs into the main dining hall. You see a couple of notable figures. One of them is Nailus, kind of sitting at the end of the table looking at a newspaper.
Hey, Austin.
Yes.
I would like to have Draji have her lunch organized upstairs. She's feeling a little apprehensive about meeting everybody.
Okay, just your lunch?
Well, I'm assuming that's what's happening now.
I guess what I'm wondering is, would you like lunch prepared specifically for you and let the rest of the party go as they wish?
Yes. She, like I was saying, she's just looking to stay away from where everybody's congregating. If everybody's congregating for lunch, that means everybody's going to be there, and she's. Let's say that, as in Telkar fashion, she's experiencing heartburn.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Draji requests of Mr. Burns to have her food up top. She's like, oh, really? My understanding is that your sister and mother will be in attendance. Are you sure?
They'll see me tonight during dinner. If it's only lunch, then I'll take my time.
Of course, Lady Draji. I will see you later. As he kind of ushers everybody else back downstairs as you guys trickle into the main dining hall. The large chandelier swinging lightly overhead, fires at either end of the dining hall. You see just a few nobles here and there. Most of them wear the kind of the Dawnfield garb. Most of them not armored. You see a knight kind of idly standing by for security as you guys walk in. You see. Let me look real quick. You see a short goateed man. Actually very short. You think at first you think perhaps he's a gnome, but he doesn't have the proportions. You think he is actually like a midget, as he sits propped up on various cushions. Kind of slightly long, curly, scraggly hair. Again, that goatee and sharp eyes. Peruse you all. He silently raises a glass to you as you enter. You see towards the end of the table, a good chair between her and Nailus, Lord of the Family. A lady that looks slightly like Draji. No red hair. However, complexions are similar, and you can kind of see her nose and her eyes. You can see these massive bags under her eyes, dark and foreboding, as she looks at you. Kind of, you just barely notice these two little bulbous pupils move towards you guys. As you also see Atreus there sitting down, apparently freshly bathed, as you can see his wet hair sticking up. Arrayed in front of him are many of the fish, which you can assume that he caught himself. And let me look over here. Additionally, you see another woman that is about the same height as the woman who you presume to be, the middle-aged woman you presume to be Draji's mother. She kind of has this kind of dark auburn hair. Green eyes, much like her brother Atreus, but not quite as piercing. As she dresses in finery and eats with perfect posture, looks over at you guys with an imperious eyebrow. Nailus kind of clears his throat a little bit, gets up, says, good of you all to come. We've already begun. Lunch tends to be a little bit less, a little bit more unceremonious, I should say. Please, sit.
We'll sit.
Kajragam nods.
Wow.
Edgark would like to. If you could, Edric might be interested in either finding a seat near Assyrion or else finding a seat near Atreus.
Sure. Yes, Assyrian walks in, very unceremoniously, kind of walks over to one end of the table, picks up a roll, then walks to the other end of the table, sits down, putting a ton of meat onto his platter. And you sit down next to him. He's relatively close to Atreus, so you can kind of be in close proximity to them.
I guess I gotta get going. Gotta go.
Okay. All right, man. Well, we got some stuff done with you. Sorry you couldn't stay for longer. We'll probably wrap up the next 30 minutes or so you won't miss much. Take care, Kyle.
That's plain, man.
Just add the EXP to my sheet. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
There.
I
See
remember.
you later, guys.
Yeah, you definitely get XP for this session. No worries. All right, see ya. Yeah. As Ajark sits down, Neil says, yes, introductions. Dolores, Willow, Travis, I believe you've already met. Albarn, this is Ajark Zelgius. He's an acquaintance with Assyrion now. They have similar interests.
Who did
Indeed,
you
we
say
do.
was there? Albion?
Albarn.
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 It is an uncle of yours. Your uncle Albarn, because he was born a midget, was never really inclined towards the military trades. He is the brother of your father. However, he has sharpened his mind and intellect to a degree that he is very tactful and kind of sharp as a whip, and he has a mind for military tactics as well. Though Nihilus will never admit that he has a better handle on it than he does.
Interesting. Yes, how do you do? Again, with the handshaking.
You're seated at a long table, so no handshaking.
Okay.
But Dolores says, yes, quite. And Willow says, don't you know it's polite to take your hat off at the table?
But of course. Pardon me. Marv? And I'll kind of like pick Marv up, kind of. Not like blatantly showing him off, but kind of maybe with a little more gesture than necessary. And I'll say, I'm sorry, Marv, but I guess I need to set you aside for now.
You're not polite, Marv.
Trace kind of like, well, I mean, he's basically a party member. I mean, he can probably. And Marv was like, oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll just kind of put me down there where it's nice and shady. And you kind of see the various members at the table gawk at you for a second. Assyrian just begins to shovel the meat into his face. He has an unholy appetite for a scraggly man his size.
I shall put Marv down where he prefers. And return.
Yes, Ajark is a scholar. We're best friends now, as you can see. And he shares my desire to recover the Arkansas artifacts. It is a noble goal, indeed.
One I pursue as well. Although I've been waylaid with recent events, it is one that I hope to achieve as well. Perhaps we could combine forces for it.
As the rest of you kind of funnel in and take chairs kind of towards the end of the table, imagine like Bruce Wayne's dining room, okay? Imagine like 20 chairs on either side and like 2 at the ends. And like the Dawnfield family is at like the far end, and Assyrian kind of sits relatively close to Atreus on the other side, and Edric sits next to him. You guys can sit wherever you want.
Yes, where do you sit?
Dante, don't sit next to Willow. Whatever you do.
Dante would probably pick a more isolated chair where he doesn't have to talk to anybody.
Do you want to sit at the very end in complete opposition?
Oh no.
No, he would... Actually, yeah. Yeah, Dante will go ahead and do that.
Oh no.
All right. He goes and takes the opposite end of the table, an end that Draja, you know, is typically associated with exceptionally like honored guests. In fact, if you didn't say any better, you would actually, you're not there, Draji. Never mind. The rest of you are there, and you have no tact. Dante, you sit at the end of the table, and everybody just kind of looks at you strangely. And Nihilus kind of breaks the silence. Just like, oh, yes, as we're all seated, in order, this is Dante Silverkin, Control Grim, clanless, I understand. Let's see what else is here. Is that it? Oh, and Telkar is there as well. And yes, Telkar Firebeard.
Ina's not down there?
Oh, Ina's there too. And yes, and their word, Ina. You can tell the women at the table are kind of sitting there waiting, and it takes a second for you guys to realize they're waiting on family names. Most of you guys are, just singles. But Silverkin and Zeldris, they kind of zero in on. And he says, Sir Edgar, are you nobility, where you come from?
Who's saying this?
This is Willow.
Oh, this is a question from Willow, is it?
Uh-huh.
I had not given this the thought that I probably should have before this session.
You did not.
Edric will make an attempt to play it off as much as possible. Well, of sorts, I suppose. My family is not nearly in the standing that it once was, but I suppose the name is at least recognizable.
Assyria kind of speaks up in between bites. Says, oh yes, the Zeldris family is very well known overseas. Their winged lord is Iskarith, the Green. He's reigned over Tirzul for some years. They kind of look at Assyrian for saying, like, winged lord? What is that, like your master, your king?
Now wait, I didn't quite understand what just happened. What?
Assyrian spoke up and informed them more about the Zeldris standing. He described Iskarith and the island you come from.
It's something about a winged lord.
About a what?
A winged lord.
Oh, okay.
Am I not clear anymore?
Not as much you were earlier, unfortunately.
Oh, that sucks. I blame Discord.
How could I describe it? It's not really so much a king, is it? It's more like a. This is meta. This is not Edgar talking, of course.
While some winged lords operate kind of like kings, more of them are more like guardian deities almost. Like you bring to them cases of law and disputes that cannot be resolved through any other judicial means, and they of course kind of guard their clan fiercely. Iskarith is sort of a combination. He likes to pull strings. He's a little bit of a manipulator, but he has kind of helped the Zeldris family for quite a while. What few Zeldris there are left, he kind of serve as his wards, and he protects them all, and the other denizens of Tirzul.
Edric will probably respond along the lines of, not exactly how you would perceive a king, but definitely a leader and guardian of sorts.
If my memory serves, Iskarith was renowned for taking out all of his hatch rivals by playing an enchanted game of chess. Naturally, he challenge them all to a game of chess, and when they lost, they died. Ingenious. Takes a sip. The two ladies at the end of the table look mortified. It's like, oh, I see. And he is your leader overseas. I see. All right.
This has always been a truth that Edric has been aware of, and it's not some. He is not unaware of the fact that this would be more. This would be more mortifying in another culture other than his own, and so he'll attempt to explain it a little bit better. Although he'll probably struggle to do so. I'm actually having trouble figuring out how to do so myself. Is it okay if I kind of... Okay, Edgar's going to try to flavor it more of a high intrigue sort of try to make it a story, I'm struggling for words. He's going to try to flavor it as more of a high intrigue story of politics and it's of legend, and he's going to try to make it sound a little better and not so brutish.
Okay, yeah. Roll me a performance check.
A performance, you say?
Yeah.
All right, I can do that. It's not great, but here we go. Oh no! Shucks.
As you describe it, it's like no, it's actually quite interesting, and most of the time, no one gets hurt or anything, and you kind of begin to ramble a little bit about the intricacies of court life, and you can kind of see the boredom on their face as the moment there's even a slight gasp in breath, and Willow is like, "And Silverkin, right? I haven't heard that family before."
Dante will nod.
Kind of raises an eyebrow.
Oh no.
Do I know of your mother or father?
Dante will kind of frown at this question, and he'll just reply, "I was an orphan.
I know I don't.
I was an orphan, and I know nothing about my family."
Oh, an orphan. Bless your soul. But we would be more than happy to hire you on as an aide in the manor. Isn't that right, Father? And Naelis kind of looks sharply at her, and Atreus says, "That's enough."
Edgar, not Edgar. Wow. Dante, any fireballs or anything about that?
No.
To hire him as an aide? Like a servant?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dante probably wouldn't quite understand what just happened. Obviously, he's not getting hired on or anything, but he'll just kind of, go back to his food.
Edgar would feel the urge to stand up for Dante. After all, he respects Dante. He'll poor Edgar, of course, after just like being basically cut off of his rambling, he'll probably feel a bit awkward doing so, but he'll want to defend Dante because he sees what's going on in this social situation, and he'll start trying to talk about how Dante has quite the capability of being a very task-focused and efficiently minded leader in his own right, and how he has been, while not in any official capacity, basically been the leader of the party that Draji is now a part of, through sheer management and accomplishments of his own, and also that he is a very powerful magic user. Yeah, that's where he's going to go with this.
Once Edgearch kind of moves into very powerful magic user, anything about that, Dante would probably get his attention and say, "No, that's enough, Edgearch."
Well, certainly.
Albarn kind of cuts in. He's like, yes, that's right. You are, from what I hear, the brains of this operation, or at least managerial aid. Kind of looks at you with sharp eyes. Cardinal Heroes. That a bit of strategy. Surrounding the walls with fire. That cataclysmic crater that went off, that destroyed the ram and the two demons. Was that your idea too?
Actually, I'll go ahead and remind Donnie that was Joshy's idea.
Yeah, I know.
Thrust it into his chest.
Yep, Dante.
It was his idea, though.
No, it wasn't. She wanted to know what it was. He said it was an incredibly powerful conduit of magic. What it did, he didn't know. Joshy's like, okay, and then she like basically punches the thing with the conduit of magic, and there's this explosion.
Yeah, I think it was Draji's idea to make it go off, I think.
Yeah.
But Dante will... The way that Dante will reply to this will say, that was a little bit of planning and a lot of sheer will.
Yes. Dearest niece Draji, no doubt supplying the sheer will.
Dante
I must say,
will not.
it is...
And others.
It is a unique pleasure. All of you. Kind of takes another sip from his wine glass. And Dolores speaks up at the end of the table. By the way, you were introduced. Dolores and Will are the mother and sister. Dolores says, and where is Draji? Kind of posed towards the end of the table.
Did she direct that to Dante?
So the end of the table to all of you. Anybody who will answer.
Edgearch will probably be the one to answer. He's probably the most sociable, talkative person from the party here. No, that I think about. He'll probably pipe up after a second and say, "Oh well, I'm not sure. I imagine maybe the last person to see her might be Ina. Were you with Draji earlier, Ina?"
But he just looks at her.
All the eyes, all on Ina. Suddenly.
Well, as soon as Edgearch realizes, like he would totally do that. As soon as Edgearch realizes what he's done, he'd be like, "Well, I'm sure she's around here somewhere. Probably off bettering herself some way."
She said she was feeling sick. Her stomach.
I feel like that's a deception roll.
Yeah, it is.
Poor Ina.
Let me try and find the... There it is. Okay. Bam. Pretty good.
But other people would have to roll insight.
It's passive insight. Unless they're actively trying to find her out for a lie.
I would imagine Dolores and Willow probably would, yeah.
Yeah. As they kind of look down the table at her, and she kind of after she gives out her little fib, she kind of shrinks under the eyes of everyone. And of all people, Albarn is the one who kind of speaks up, says, "Oh, right, well, I'm sure the journey took a lot out of her. Shall we see Marcus go see her?" Kind of looks over at Naelis and says, "Quite, I think that would be appropriate. Can't have her missing dinner." And one of the servants departs the room. And Willow kind of speaks up, and who might you be?
Oh dear.
Ina goes, Ina?
I can see her sliding under the table for some reason.
Father described you as their ward. What makes you worth protecting? She says, well then,
Oh, wait a minute. Did she say it that way?
yeah.
What makes you worth protecting?
Yes.
Uncle Edark isn't happy about that.
You grumble.
Edark is actually starting to kind of like. He gives the benefit of the doubt as much as he can. He's kind of starting to not like her though. This Willow character. He will. Well, okay. First, he'll let Ina speak for herself if she can. But if
Dante would probably interrupt. I don't know how he would. I can't quite think of it, but he would
lots of
probably
eye twitching.
he not no eye twitching, but he would probably clear his throat after she asks the question, and he will say, "Of course, protection includes many different strategies, and one of them is the I'm sorry guys, hold on a minute.
What's going on with you, Donnie? You've been kind of sluggish today.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's this whole staying inside business. Anyway, okay, so Dante will clear his throat, and then he will say, and protection includes many different strategies, one of which is not giving out too much information.
Oh,
Like you
truly.
see Edark lifting a claw because he was about to speak because he doesn't like the way that she spoke. But when you say that, he'll kind of, his jaw will snap shut and he'll kind of sit back down again.
She says, oh, truly. Well, we're all trustworthy company, aren't we? Kind of gestures to everyone. And Telkar kind of, those very, very good sausages, ma'am. Could we get seconds over here? And one of the servants is like, oh, yes, right away, sir.
Actually, that should probably be more like thirds or fourths by now.
Yeah. Honestly, Telkar like has all of the meat in the general vicinity like gravitating towards him. So technically, it's like second or thirds, but it's only the first course.
Can you pass that? Can you pass that? Can you pass that? Give me a wee bit of that.
As it becomes quiet for a little bit, as just the clanking of forks on plates.
Did you say that
Occasional cough.
somebody sent a servant to go look for where Draji was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll actually get to that here in just a second. But yeah, lunch proceeds, and you guys slowly fill up. Assyrion is either so used to this behavior or so oblivious that like midway through the silence, she's like, "So, Cardinal Heroes, I have a proposition for you.
Oh dear.
There are a few heroes in this day and age, true heroes, selfless heroes of caliber and sheer willpower. These only come about once in an age, let me tell you. I've been around. I should like an interview. One and all of you. Well, can't do that right now, but soon. My friend Edark here tells me that you will all be in about Leandra in the near future. I would like to arrange this then.
Oh, an interview. Well, what would be the venue for this interview?
Well, naturally, we would go to the Call of Coherence or some other such appropriate site. Naturally, it will just be between you and I, unless you wish for more publicity. That can be arranged. But such individuals as yourselves come about in only a century or so, 300 years at best. I would love to have your entries for my Grand Leonic Folio. What
Well,
say you?
certainly, this sounds like a grand idea. Edgar's totally taken.
Dante wouldn't be against this. He'd probably nod. He's not against it.
But what's his purpose, though? Like, why would he agree to it? I feel like that's something that Dante wouldn't want.
If Dante understands through the introductions that he's an author, etc., then it might give us more publicity, and more publicity leads to more, fame, and more fame leads to more opportunities because more people will be willing to join up as conscripts.
So Dante is looking to hire an army.
Part of that, yeah. It makes it easier in any case.
Sure, how you roleplay that.
Well, in the meantime, Dante just nods at his suggestion.
Katrogam says, I don't know about this. And Asarian says, oh, but good monk, I would be more than happy to interview and tell the world about your wonderful philosophy, this concept of balance and worshipping Aya, was it? Yes. The whole world will know, and the doctrine might spread. And Katrogam kind of nods a little bit. Yes. And you there, Telkar Firebird, sir. I recognize the name. We've got a number of imports from Calder the last few months. I'll be more than happy to interview your metallurgy and have that recorded for the ages to all these uncouth humans. Kind of motions towards the end of the table, and Telkar says, "Yeah, but it is settled. Now a date need merely be set." Fascinating. I am so excited for this bit. Begins writing something down. After a few moments, the second course is served for lunch. That is just a soup as well as a bit of sweet bread to kind of finish it off. As most of you are stuffed, and Tucker's like, "Wait, there's a second course?"
Yes, it's sausage soup, Tilkar, didn't you know?
As the meal progresses, you guys can roleplay as you see fit, but I will say the questions are kept to sharp, pointed parts and silence and small banter between you guys.
Edgar might like to talk with Atreus specifically a bit. Ask him what he's been up to. He just wants to extend the line for Atreus, so to speak.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. You do note that Atreus seems a little bit more at peace, less like kind of passive aggressive than he was before. You know that his entire battalion apparently died in the attack of Leandra, and since then he has been kind of discontent to sit around, but seemingly being back at home, doing whatever he does here has put him at peace a little bit more, and so he's able to kind of make small talk, and after you get him going, you realize that Atreus is actually a master at this. He just felt kind of introverted or otherwise kind of shut out, and he very easily fills the quiet in the room with pointed, interesting, and heartfelt questions to each of you. Even gets Ina talking a little bit. As after a few more minutes pass, it seems the mother excuses herself first, and then she appears to kind of saunter to the side a little bit, almost as if she's about to fall. One of the knights catch her, and Willow kind of jolts up, saying, "Mother!" kind of grabs her. She says, "I'm all right. Just take me to my room."
I was waiting for this opportunity, and so was Edgark. Edgark wants to have been paying attention to her. Actually, in retrospect, this is probably not the greatest way to handle this. But anyways, I want to do a general insight check on her over the course of this meeting. The mother.
Yeah, go for it.
And ever since he kind of became less fond of Willow, she might be included in this too, but I'll leave that up to you. 24! Yes,
Yeah,
finally a good
very
roll.
nice. As you glance at Dolores, from what your briefing of Draji was, you expected far more questions to be positive from her mother. Obviously, you can understand the concern a mother might have for their child, but she was eerily quiet. And as you were watching throughout the meal, her body language slowly sagged more and more. It seems to you that this woman is just exceptionally fatigued, drained of all life. Again, these massive bags under her eyes just small little kind of black orbs in her skull that you kind of barely see through the slits. Her dress appears to be finely pressed in total contradiction to the rest of her body. She's been worn down and you're not sure why.
So she just do I draw any? I want to compare this mentally with the experience that we had with the hegemon. Is there anything similar going on?
You do kind of get that vague sense of despondency, like the person isn't exactly there, but you're not sure if it's a magical means or physical means. As Nihilus gets up and apologizes, excuse me, my wife is having one of her bouts. She's been in ill health as of late. Thank you all for sharing lunch with us. Feel free to amuse yourselves as you see fit. We shall have a larger crowd this evening, made up of various delegates as well as more of the extended family. Please, if there's anything you need, inform Versio and Mr. Burns. They will take care of you. And kind of walks out of the room after Willow and Dolores. For a few months, the only sounds are Telkar stuffing his face.
Trying to eat as much as he can before lunch is over. An appetizer for dinner. Guys, for me, it's going to be a good idea if we get off in about 15 minutes, because apparently I've got some stuff I need to handle.
We can stop now if you like.
Okay. Is everybody else cool with that?
I think so.
Austin
I know I've
said
got
something
plenty of
about
things.
getting to me after the lunch. I was kind of waiting for it,
Just some light role play, really.
but I mean,
We can do that if you like. Yeah. So you hear a knock at your door, Draji. Yes, you can either sit or lounge as you like in your room. Draji, it's Dr. Marcus, your physician.
oh, hello.
Some of your companions downstairs said you weren't feeling well. I came to make sure all's well. I know your family would rather not miss you at dinner this evening.
No, I understand the importance of the dinner. It's more of along the lines of just being a bundle of nerves.
I understand. Well, you know, I went to the School of Hard Knocks in psychiatry. If you want to let me in.
Don't know anything about this, Dr. Marcus.
Yeah, he is kind of an upper middle-aged man. You know, he was a war companion of your father, Nihilus. Apparently a field surgeon at one point. Then afterwards, he was so reliable that Nihilus decided to kind of indoctrinate him into the household. He's kind of the family doctor.
Got it. Okay. She'll open the door and let him in and say, okay.
Yeah, he walks in. He has a simple kind of pale coat on. You see under his chin is a plague doctor's mask, just in case. So won't be needing this, will we?
No.
Sits down, closes the door behind him. Oh, it's good to have you here, Draji.
I think maybe you're one of the few that feel that way.
Oh, nonsense. How long has it been? What? 7, 8, 9 years?
Somewhere around 10, almost 11.
Time flies when you get old, it seems. Well, I can speak for myself, but I can also speak to my knowledge and insight of your family. And while you may have your quarrels with your siblings or mother, I wish you to know that they do speak of you sometimes. Not always in the light that you think of. I think that in some capacity, even your sister was excited to have you here.
She sort of, she'll sort of look at him very slowly, and she'll be like, I find that incredibly unbelievable.
Well, it's been a few years since you've been here, John. Your family dynamics have changed a little bit. Your mother has, well, her health isn't good. It's been deteriorating. Something fierce. This is one of the things me and Nelis wanted to speak to you of. It is seemingly inexplicable. In all my years of physician work in the army, dealing with arcane maladies of all shape and size, there's nothing quite like this, and I have no idea what it could be. She doesn't sleep well. She says she has awful nightmares. Additionally, she hardly eats. She's withered down to barely more than a witch branch. She hardly goes outside into her garden. She barely speaks with Willow, which, as you know, is barely the only social interaction she has to begin with.
Similar to how Edric was saying with her behavior was in the dining hall, will Draji pick up some similar behaviors of when she was trying to help Tyron get out of his stupor?
It does ring a bell, but again, you're not quite sure if it's the same thing. There are many different kinds of enchantments and also natural maladies in this world that venture beyond one's comprehension.
Well, I mean, there was the venture beyond all comprehension with Tyron too, and we managed to deal with that just fine. So,
Right.
I'm just wondering if his description is exceptionally similar.
From what you know about Hegemon, he was still kind of performing his hegemonic duties. He was despondent at other times, and he did eat less. But he seemed to have like a decreased amount of empathy. Whereas apparently, Marcus is describing her desire for her daughter to return home. This kind of sense of longing that, constitutes a full house.
Is that what Draji? Is that how she understands it? Because that's not something that would click with Draji.
That's how Marcus is describing it, but you can interpret it however your character would.
Mm.
Anyways, I wish you to know that I will also be in attendance this dinner. And don't you worry. Everything will work out just fine, all right? Now, I'll tell them all you had a bit of travel fatigue, maybe ate something strange the other night. I did hear what you were all doing in the kitchen.
Oh, we
But,
didn't wake you up, did we? I'm sorry.
Man, it's all right. It's all right. I keep cat hours. Take naps all through the day, so I can be up anytime Dolores needs me. Anyways, it is good to see you, Draji. He kind of pats you on the shoulder a couple of times.
She would sort of nod, not, it's not dismissively, it's more of like a sad nod, and she would sort of pat his hand, like, keeping it on her shoulder for a second as like a sense of comfort. And she'll look up at him and say, when do you and Father need to talk to me? Because I would much rather get that soon, before dinner, and just go ahead and...
There was a matter relating to the Valley of Souls we were wanting to speak to you and your companions about, actually. That's why we invited them. But that can wait. It appears to be well in hand for now. It is simply something we wish to inform you of. There was also a couple of other matters that, well, have been a long time coming. But good afternoon, Draji. Hope to see you this evening. As he gets up, kind of in that relaxed Marcus manner, and exits.
Yeah, sorry. Draji would sort of give this sigh of relief, like something just got off her chest, and she'll be like, "Why am I down in the pits? I'm home." And then she'll sort of like march herself downstairs. She'll probably like. Would you say that there's? I know that there's a grand piano. Would you say that she had any particular lessons in the piano?
I'll give you half proficiency. You probably learned it as part of your noble upbringing,
Got
but
it.
you never like mastered the instrument or anything. I would say Atreus is actually probably the best pianist in the house.
So half proficiency.
Yeah, so you're gonna half your proficiency modifier.
Okay, are we rounding up or down? Because it's a 5.
We typically round up when it comes to skill checks. So yeah.
Okay. All right, hang on. I got this, guys. Wait. I don't know how to do this now. Okay, /R. All right, cross my fingers. I'm probably going to get that crit 1. I'm going to absolutely have be murder sauce.
Fingers. I know from experience that trying to play piano with your fingers crossed doesn't it?
Yeah, playing with chopsticks.
Yeah, unless you're playing chopsticks, is what I say.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, go for it.
Here goes nothing, guys. 21.
Pretty nice. As while your mood has improved, you kind of feel like the inner sadness is kind of etching away as you play the piano. This kind of lightly haunting melody echoes through the halls as those of you in the dining hall have been abandoned by the Dawnfields. Albarn at this point, excusing himself and inviting you all to the Knight's Armory at some point if you'd like, where he generally spends a lot of his time. You hear piano kind of echoing from upstairs. And that's where we'll end the session. So, to each of you,
RP.
500 XP to each of you.
I think Katrogrim should get more because of his mod.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'll just PM him and I'll let him calculate it as he sees fit. Let me know the high level though. Okay. What? It's not that low level, is he?
It's 1.5 and then you add a 0.5 for each level. But I don't think he's. I mean, Austin can look and check for himself, but I don't think he's level 8. I think he's like 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think he's 10 because he said he was in the middle of the pack before Telkar lapped him. 11 actually. Okay.
Yeah, that was about to be concerning.
Yeah, I was like, no way, he's 8. That's like last arc levels. That's like the levels we started at when we started 5th edition.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for playing. I know there's a lot of role play. With Katrogrim and everything, it slowed down a little bit, but I'm hoping we'll get some very good stuff in next session and some things hinting at what's to come. Like any good Agatha Christie book, you got to set the stage before you can do things with it.
Agatha Christie books say.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
So is this actually a mystery? So what I'm understanding,
It may be. There
you-
are various elements at play.
I feel like you're targeting Draji's weak point, which is her intelligence modifier, because she can't investigate worth a flip.
Dante's gonna bring everybody back into the dining room for the big reveal. And he's gonna say,
Yeah.
in this room,
puts on
there's
his
a
mask
killer.
instead of his Sherlock Holmes hat.
Yeah, in this room there's a killer amongst us. And then he'll just cast Fireball and sculpt it around all of us, kill everybody else. I got them.
Kills everyone.
He's
The only way to ensure the killer does not escape is to kill everyone.
Right. You can't allow a killer to walk free, so just kill everybody.
To keep the murderer from ever seeing the light of day, I will become a murderer. A mass murderer.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I'll stop
Well,
the
good stuff,
recording.
guys.
Bye, Mom.